and pussy poppers, we are here for another edition of Cliff Notes Radio.
Yeah.
We got G Dot in the building.
Yeah.
Man, G Dot, introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are.
Yes. I'm George G. Hill. You feel me? Comedian, actor, radio personality, lawyer, noob, whatever you want to.
Okay, noob.
Noob, you play?
That nigga got multiple hats over there,
What
man.
college you went to, man?
I went to Stanford, my nigga.
You went.
Whoa.
The boy said
That
he's a
nigga's
lawyer
intelligent
and he went
right
to
there,
Stanford.
man.
Do you get that
I
reaction
don't know
every
why
time?
they be challenging me on Facebook so goddamn much.
Light skinned nigga.
You
And
know
he
what I
went to
mean? Like,
Stanford.
I be like, nigga, I'm learning,
Ladies, if y'all watching, y'all got the ideal package over here, man. This nigga
I be
does it
telling
all.
them. They still be acting
That
foolish.
nigga got
What's
curls.
the-
You ain't
All he
married?
missing is the
You ain't
green
married, you got no
eyes.
kids?
What's
No
the
kids?
what's the
Never married,
ideal?
no kids.
What's the ideal package, Tori?
Everything that nigga just said. Actor, comedian, radio
Stanford
show,
grad?
Stanford grad.
Noob.
For real.
Noob.
Yep, no.
Hey, what's
That's
that
what
nigga
we
Reads
all-
over his own
Is that
contract.
that Greek? Is that some Greek?
Yeah, that's Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated.
Kappa
yeah, I
Alpha
know.
Psi. He's a Kappa, y'all.
Okay.
That's why they got Kappas at Stanford and like
Yeah.
did you
It's niggas in Stanford. You wouldn't
Is-
believe it though.
I mean, not so much now, you know what I mean? But definitely about, 10
What
years
year
ago.
you graduate?
02.
Oh, two.
02.
Okay.
Yeah. So back 10 years ago, niggas was there.
I dig it.
They don't
Wait, you
recruit
graduated
niggas no
high
more.
school in 02 or
I-
college in 02?
I graduated college in 06.
Oh, okay.
That's the business.
I graduated from Crenshaw in 02.
That's
Okay.
the
Dope,
Oh, you
dope.
born and raised in LA?
Yeah.
That's the deal. You
Nice.
don't meet too
Well,
I
many
could
people.
have swore.
Went
No,
from
because the way
Crenshaw to Stanford?
Crenshaw to Stanford, baby.
Wow.
Crenshaw to Stat. That's
Nah,
what
that's- you clap that
That's
up. That-
I clap it up too. That shit. I
Do you-
appreciate it.
do you
Y'all
get
hype me up.
that-
I like it.
Wow, that's
G-Dot, do you get that reaction all the time when you say Stanford? Like, are
I
people
try
surprised?
to. I try to, but I mean, that's why I went there, so it could come off your tongue the way it does, and
You
yeah, I
be
mean,
trolling
it's
sometimes.
almost any some odd year, it's number one in the nation, so it's gonna get that. It's gonna get that pull
clout.
and that draw.
That's like the
It's a
West-
resume thing. You
That's
know
the
what I mean?
West Coast Ivy League.
It's your
right there.
credits.
That's
you
an eye-
you
that's an
always
eye.
want to raise some eyes when you got your credits.
They be
you
like,
know what
a
I'm saying?
Stanford grad.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
They be saying that, then they still be acting the same. They be like,
You still a nigga.
acting trifling.
Well, man, we gotta introduce the rest of the panel. Our queen of the show.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, this is MJ, also known as president of the Thick Thigh Rub Association. Welcome to Cliff Notes Radio. I'm back, I'm black, and I'm blessed.
Yeah. And next to her,
Triple B's.
next to her, our light skinned king.
Oh
you
yeah,
know what
man.
I'm saying?
It's the lovable light skinned nigga T Rich, aka Tough Crowd T. No one other than thee. And if it is, we have yet to see.
And behind the boards, the man who makes it all possible, who is rare to find him paying attention. He's right here for us. Introduce yourself, brother.
It's your boy, the god of ADHD.
This nigga was
Your-
smacking on the mic.
Your boy Young Lil, aka the Black MacGyver, also known as Mr. 420. And I'm alive today, and that's all that matters.
I dig it,
That's
man.
all that matters.
As long as
I'm
you're
here.
on top of the ground ain't on top of you. It's
Woo.
another day, man. Stay
That
true.
part.
Tell it.
Well, y'all already know, man. It's your host with the most. It's your boy Cliff the Gift, slinging that wood, not that stick. Your man might keep it 100, but you see me, I'ma give you that extra inch. I like my girls authentic, so you don't want to mess with me on my shit. This is another 2018 edition of Cliff Notes Radio. We back talking that shit with G Dot.
Yes, sir.
Y'all know what it is. The number is 310-955-4966.
4966.
Y'all make sure y'all call in. If you haven't subscribed, the channel is Cliff Notes Radio. If you're listening on the
Go now.
socialhour.com,
Go
you need
now.
to make sure you go
Subscribe
right
now.
now, log in, subscribe so you can see when we go live, because sometimes we be a little late and shit. But yeah, man, we start our shows off with a segment called Ain't That Some Shit? Something that happened in the world today where you just had to sit back and be like, damn, ain't that some shit?
Man. It's been a lot of shit happening since the last show.
It's been shitty.
Everything's been shit. We live in the bowl of shit.
We had to part with one of our brothers.
Are you talking about Brother West?
the goofy guy.
Let that man live.
The ones we used to
that
all
man
hail. And
I still
praise.
work out
Another
to
time?
college dropout and dark twisted fantasy.
You be listening? You working out the workout plan?
Yeah.
What type of nigga?
I mean, you know, sometimes you need a little pop to get you through them runs. You know what I'm saying? You
Kanye,
know,
little pop.
Kanye was that nigga at one point in time, man.
Hey, but Kanye went from rapping about bitches getting lipo to get a baller.
Yeah, when I heard about that lipo situation, I'm like,
he went from rapping about hoes on lipo to get a baller from him getting lipo.
Yeah, which is crazy because his mom died from that same shit. So you know what I mean, plastic surgery and all that good stuff, man. So.
And him saying slavery was a choice, like then niggas already knew that was a choice.
I mean, he has something to it though.
Shout out to that nigga Van Late. Is his name?
We all in
Van Late.
Nigga from TMZ.
Yeah.
Hey man, shout out to you.
I got
bro,
some words
for
about Van.
setting that nigga
What you
straight,
gotta say
bro.
about
I mean, first of all, in terms of slavery as a choice, I mean, there is some truth to choices. It's not a literal choice to be a slave because you're forced and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
There's two things that were alive then and now, and it's you got two choices. You can live with your creature comforts and go along with things, or you can revolt. Now I get it that individually revolting sounds crazy, but it is about ultimately collective revolt.
Is it creature comforts or survival skills?
No, it's creature comforts. I mean, you love this electricity, this radio, these things that
like
white money provides. The only thing that's on top is people the 13 families and shit that own pretty much all of wealth in the world. The World Bank owners. Right. Everything is the reason why you got two banks that are too big to fail is because they're connected to all of our creature comforts that we can't live without. Yeah. They were saying that the banks collapse, you can't, or the FDIC collapsed, you know what I mean, and you can't get your money out because that really means that you can't connect to your creature comforts now.
Yep.
Because you haven't grown your own crops, you haven't become self-sufficient. You are sustaining yourself on the master's program. Exactly. So in terms of and I think he was going to it, and he said the love thing and things like that, which I disagree with. But
I hear where you're going with that.
Yeah.
Because he said, the 400 years of slavery. Now, there was 246 years of actual chattel slavery, like bondage. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then the accumulated all together the 400 years of just liberating ourselves from the actual bondage and then still being slaves in the mind. Yeah. Now I get the mental slavery part, but
I just think it
Kanye,
just means you're stuck in the sound bites, my nigga. That's all I'm saying.
It's just Kanye. I know he's not a complete idiot. Now he doesn't have the actual education.
Well, he went to college.
I'm
sure some niggas that ain't never even been to a college
but
or JUCO
you can expect,
that came up and said some shit about this slavery as a choice.
You can expect more from Kanye. Okay. I know he's much more smarter than he's able to articulate.
He's attacking things from a different. He's just attacking things from a different point of view.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, nobody really revolting, my nigga. We all slaveries to this type.
But it was still some goofy niggas that sat up and said, "Oh no, I agree with Kanye. Niggas is slaves. Niggas did choose to get on that boat."
But I could say it in that voice. Oh, slavery is never a choice. You know what I mean? Why would they choose to be slaves? Just because you say it like that, it makes it sound like it's a dumbfounded point. But it's all about, like I said, there's two choices: creature comforts or revolt. Even then,
but this is the thing.
If every person died trying to get from them chains, there wouldn't be slavery, would there? If you look at it like that, I'm just saying that there is choices on many different levels. It may be a forced thing. You can be, if somebody has your gun to your head and says, "Give me your car,"
but that's an ultimatum,
you can give them,
my nigga. You
that's an ultimatum.
The car.
Come on the boat, put on these chains or die. That's a choice. It's the same choice.
And a lot of people make
give up your dates, nigga.
I gotta say this. What about the people? What about the? Hold on, Jaleel. Hold on. Because for a nigga to be that rich, and for everybody to be following this nigga like, oh, Kanye, he's leading us. He's speaking for us. Right. Because he comes from the same struggle that we come from.
Who said he's speaking for us?
No. To sit up and say that slavery was a choice, you got to think about the people that were born into that shit. Yeah. That didn't have that choice to get on that boat.
Of course, that
didn't have that choice to hop off or take the bullet.
Exactly.
You got to think about the people that grew up, that were born into slavery that didn't have no other mentality about liberation.
I get it. I'm saying
so then can I give you this then? That segues me perfectly into my point. Is that first of all, we're misconstruing what Kanye said because he misspoke. When he initially made his statement,
said that he didn't articulate himself right.
But in a series of tweets the very next day, and this is what pissed me off about Stephen A. Smith on First Take, that Friday, last week Friday, he reprimanded Kanye for everything he said, speaking as if he just had the comments on then. Instead of being the reporter that he is and researching and realizing the very next day afterwards, he clarified his comments that he made on TMZ live.
Right.
And he said, no, he was not talking about physical slavery was a choice. He was talking about being mentally enslaved. And then he used a quote from Harriet Tubman, in which Harriet Tubman stated, I freed thousands of slaves, and I could have freed 1,000 more if they only knew they were slaves.
Yeah.
So he didn't say anything wrong once you remove that context from it. Everybody's trying to vilify him, and yet it's stupid people that chose to agree with his initial misspoken comments are crazy.
Go ahead.
Hey, and Van should be ashamed of himself because he stick with that white man and he ruins lots of black men's careers, and he's supposed to be the savior against Kanye West, who is actually saying something that's provoking much thought at the very least, which is a step towards a social collective consciousness. But I don't watch TMZ.
So you said that ultimately Kanye West, he's creating this conversation, right?
To some degree, yes.
Do you think that he has a black agenda?
The choices. I mean, yes. I mean, I think the media in general. I mean, it's pumped and fueled by white money that's going to collectively bring together their interests. They have billions of dollars of meetings about how to socially engineer what we're thinking and things of this nature. So, I mean, to some degree, he's part of that mechanism, and all of us entertainers are to some degree. And but I do believe that people need to understand that there are choices out here, and if we did come up and realize that a revolt is what it takes, peace and love is something, but peace and love truly doesn't combat evil, because evil goes anywhere. Evil does anything, and love does not.
It perpetuates itself.
I
don't
mean,
need nothing to.
I have a whole book that I'm writing about the eradication of evil, which talks about getting rid of all blacks. Getting rid of all whites and things like this. And some conundrum of how the white blood and the DNA is evil.
Growing minority now.
The conundrum is that they've penetrated so many blacks. Is like, where do we go forward in terms of the eradication of full evil, and also the consumerism and capitalism being part of that evil and things of that nature. That's the crazy part. But I mean, we may have to start back from zero. And that may take us all to be martyrs and things like that for that cause in order to truly cleanse this society. But that's too deep for niggas. But you know what I mean? But we wouldn't be talking about it.
But it does make sense.
Talking about it if Kanye didn't say some shit.
But this is,
and that's what entertainers do. We bring up the subjects, my nigga.
My thing with him is not just bringing up the subject. And even with him being live and not being able to think about what he said, when you put the construct of just saying something is a choice and not just saying that it was.
Man, you got to put the white sound bites out there for the white man.
And that's really what he put out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if he explained it right then, and said that exact same word choice, slavery is a choice, because he was talking about a whole general time period, including now, and things of that nature.
But
they can take that soundbite and make you look crazy.
Kanye branded himself.
They've taken slave. My opinion of why I totally can still say I disagree with Kanye, because I can't just jump on his bandwagon for bringing some shit up the way he brought it up, because I'm
not on a bandwagon of the rant. Right, I'm just saying that there's things that people need to learn. And Kanye is a rapper producer, my nigga. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, where's Ja? That's the same shit that we try to do. So, but like I said, as entertainers, we bring up subjects that other people aren't thinking about, aren't wanting to be told. And whether we tell them the correct way or we tell them in a joking manner, that's not for us to
get ready to do that.
This nigga's not a philosopher, my nigga.
You have to articulate, because you got millions
don't.
of your followers watching this shit.
And that's the slave shit. That's
He don't gotta do shit.
He
just a rapper.
But that's the slave shit. Where I'm saying they put niggas.
You just got through saying that he's the nigga that's gonna put the ideas out there and put the shit in plan.
Media
the
is
nigga has
what
to
get it through media.
Media is what puts ideas out there. That's why I say I get what
look,
you're saying.
Look, here's the sensationalism of it. Wait, let me tell you, bro.
This
This is the sensationalism of it. He knows that the way this society is. Remember, this is not a stupid man. He's not a dumb man. He may have misspoken, but he's calculated in what he does. He knows that the only things that get attention in this world nowadays are sensationalized things, are outlandish, crazy thoughts and ideas. So why don't we use our God mind, the mind that we've been given, and instead of looking for the sensational part, look past it to what he's actually trying to accomplish.
Man,
by
look,
getting
what
in
I'm
front
saying
of,
is,
look, bro,
let me just say this. We're talking. Wait.
Let me finish.
I have to get this.
I'm not done, bro.
Go ahead.
This is the most publicized president we've ever had, more than Obama. Even though it's negative imagery,
I've seen it before, man.
He's more publicized all around the world than any president before him.
That's the day and age we live in.
Because the kind of world we live in loves the negative, and they love the fact that Trump is fucking up and making the world look dumb. So why not somebody like Kanye West, who's trying to bring attention to a subject, whether he misstepped when he did it or not, by meeting with this man and saying these crazy, insane ideas on a program he knows most of the world watches, even though it comes on in the middle of the fucking day.
My point in
Kanye was counterproductive this last week.
He started a discussion, bro. Did he not?
Very counterproductive
this
last
nigga
week.
bitch just showed a clip 2 weeks ago on Instagram, and we sitting there talking about him.
Thank you.
Fuck, I'm trying to say.
Thank you. That's all I was thinking about right now. I'm like, here it is. We already talked about this nigga for 2 to 3 weeks, and we're bringing him up again. Look, bro, Kanye, I love your music. I love you as an artist. I understand the free thinking, but at the end of the day, this is just another human being.
Yes,
we all fuck up, and we don't. Life does not come with instructions. And for all you people wasting your time on social media talking about the negative shit that he's talking about, how many of us in life say dumb shit? We just don't have it. We you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not on the same platform.
And can write essays
so
on Facebook about
that being said,
turn them into their teachers, man. Get some credits.
Shit.
That being said, I am done talking about Kanye unless it's some other subject.
About that new album that's about to come out.
Nigga, you did some bullshit.
On to my
hey,
next
man,
one,
you know, support my comedy, Kanye.
Doing what you gotta do.
I'm trying to produce a show, my nigga.
Support G Dot, man.
Appreciate you,
Come check
Kanye,
him
man.
out.
On to my next Ain't That Some Shit. I wanted to say some shit about Cinco de Mayo over this weekend. I'm driving the lift shit. So you gotta really watch your friends. Like, I don't know, like people, I don't know who people go around to get drunk and fucked up. But these two dudes literally walked out they homeboy and tried to throw this nigga in my back seat. He was incapacitated all the way the fuck out.
You never done that before?
Just, I mean, you can kill Cosby.
I thought I thought when you want to get rid of your homeboy, you send him a lift, you know, with his address in there.
All the way passed out.
That's what they did in House Party.
Oh,
you
hell.
Remember, they just put him in the.
First of all, they not real homies if they let him get like that.
In the real world, you can't do that shit. And on TV, that shit's very cool and some funny shit. But in real life, it's like niggas get fucked up like that. Like, this dude, friends really like threw him out there. I'm like, man, you could have got your pockets ran in and everything.
Yeah.
This night. Then they had the guy had already thrown up on himself. That was the Ain't That Some Shit part.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
how you just take off his shirt or nothing?
Ain't that some throw up, nigga? Ain't that some throw up?
Oh, nigga, you gotta share that arm right.
Man,
we're not sharing this.
I mean, I think they had some effort, at least. You know what I mean? Nigga could have left him in the club, passed out. That's
they walked him out from
how do you...
house.
So they got drunk.
Gita, have you ever got that drunk to where you threw up on yourself?
Yeah.
You gotta think about it.
Oh, man.
I've definitely done it, especially in an Uber. I didn't want to throw up in an Uber, and then
So
they
you
get
just threw
charged. I just took it in the shirt, and then
You know they give them niggas $500 if you throw up in that shit, bro.
I did it one time, and that was.
I don't think the driver get the whole $500.
The driver gets $500 to clean that shit up.
I don't know. They charged it on my card. I know that. It was like $320 back in the day.
Yeah.
You know what?
They bro, you get charged for that shit, and the driver gets all of that.
What did you do with the
Cliff?
What did you do with the passenger?
Nah, I got that nigga the fuck out the car.
You just left him on the corner?
Nah,
With his friends?
they pulled that nigga back out,
okay.
and he fell on the ground and busted his head.
Well, you was,
Damn.
But
was
the
encouraging
not
more
homies.
participation from
They
the
really
homies.
not
I
his
agree.
homies.
They not homies.
I'm not mad at
The
that.
worst situation with throw up that
They
I
probably
ever
was drunk,
had.
too.
What's the worst situation with throw up y'all done ever had?
Somebody threw up in my car. I used to drive a van. You remember I don't know if you remember the van.
driver?
I was driving the van, bro, and everybody was in the van. We was all lit coming back from what was it?
I think
Santa
I
Barbara.
beat that.
Santa Barbara.
I beat that.
Bruh, this girl threw up in my car in every single row on the way out the car. It's 5 rows, nigga. She threw up in every row trying to get out of the car.
Was she overweight?
Lil,
Hell of a
No,
cleaning bill.
it was disgusting, bro.
Lil, your stories are so inflated. I don't believe you, bro.
Jaleel do be having like
Bro,
some.
He be having
It
some
took him
outlandish,
I be looking for the
amazing
Deborah to jump
Disney
out.
stories. Like, bro,
I be waiting on
Bro,
the
what
Deborah.
are you
I
talking
swear-
about?
Like she was, it took her a whole 15 minutes to get out the car. From
It
the
took
back
her
row.
15
She
minutes,
was drunk
Jaleel.
as shit, bro. She kept stopping. Like every time she would move,
And
she would get
stopped
sick
in
and throw up.
every row and threw up in
And
every
threw the
row.
fuck
Lil.
up.
Five throws.
I had to clean up.
Sir, I do
Five
not
throws.
believe you.
You don't have to believe me. Take it for what you
I
want.
don't believe you.
But
I
I-
don't believe your inflated ass stories.
It took me an entire
You know what
morning.
I'ma do?
It took me an entire morning the next
I'm
day
gonna
to clean
gather
it all out.
your stories on Cliff
What you
Notes
clean it with?
Radio.
I took
I'ma
it to the
just-
car wash and I had to hit it with the shampoo and
It's
shit.
gonna be a whole collage of
That shit was
Jalil's
I had
stories.
the homie got drunk in my car once. I had a caddy. The homie got drunk in my car, and I was like, "Nigga, you better not throw up in my shit." The bro leaned his head out the window and started throwing
The
up.
whole
I'm
side of
driving
your car.
still.
Yeah,
I'm
the
on the
whole
freeway.
side of your car fucked
The
up.
whole side of my car had throw up. I didn't know until the next morning.
Ew.
That shit was like street.
The
the
bro,
freeway while
the bro
driving
was
outside the
wiping
window.
it with his fingers, nigga. I seen fingerprints and shit. In
That's
it.
gross.
Oh, because he was so drunk he thought he was cleaning it.
By the grace of the heavens, I've never thrown
I've
up
been-
like
I've
on
been-
myself.
I
Henny.
have.
I don't. And remember when I used to be a heavy Henny drinker?
I remember.
I loved Henny, and I still wouldn't get that low.
You had high Henny tolerance and low standards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
She said,
But no, hey, so I want to talk about This Is America video. How
That's
many-
ain't that some shit.
Mine too.
Well, MJ, you dive into it, please.
Just long story short, Daniel Glover, also known as Childish Gambino, he
"Is it Danny or Donald?"
Donald Glover. I say Danny. I mean, shout out to Daniel Glover, but
That's what you call that nigga when you be having your toys. Go ahead.
anyway, so he came out with the video called "This Is America," and it's caused like a lot of controversy because of the visual content that it has in it. And in 2 parts of the video, he shoots. Well, in the first part in the video where he has a gun in his hand, he shoots what's supposed to be a black man tied up. Second visual, you guys just YouTube the shit. Just This Is America.
Don't do it right now though. Watch the show first. Then
Thank
go.
you.
Yeah.
With that being said, it's caused a lot of conversation. So I don't know how to feel about the visual.
There's a lot of shit going on.
It was a lot of shit
There's
going
a
on, but
whole
that
lot of
very
shit.
first scene when he pulls that trigger, I wasn't ready.
Did you see
And
it?
I felt like there definitely needed to be a trigger warning because I don't even watch shit like that.
Yeah, I saw a post today about the pose he did when he shot the nigga in
Oh,
the chair.
it's like, if a nigga shoot
He
me
said,
like-
if a nigga shoot me like that, guy gotta give me a do-over.
Right.
That was a good
With
name.
that pose,
But yeah, no, it's I hear what you're saying because it is a whole lot going on. I watched the video probably like 2.5, 3 times,
Oh no.
and like each time I had to watch the shit that was going on in the background too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It looked like it was like riots and like you know, you see the students. I guess they students. They dancing with him and shit, and like. You know, when he goes into the next room, you know, you got the choir people, and again, you know, he get the K. And
Y'all
just-
can
I looked
YouTube
at
it
the
because he about to
kids,
give away
yeah.
the whole video.
Yeah,
Man, everybody's seen the video about it. It's got
Not
like 30
everyone, bro.
million.
Man, and that's not even counting like.
And if you ain't
views
seen the
to
Instagram shit, come
this,
on,
my
man,
shit
you-
full
Right,
with
and
that
the
same
Facebook
video,
link,
nigga.
right.
Like you ain't seen.
It's
If
crazy.
somebody posted it, you probably.
You know what's-
if you
what's-
seen it, everybody else seen it.
What I think is very fascinating is how people really were arguing with each other on who's more woke.
Kanye
and
versus
shit.
Donald.
And it's like, come on, bro. It's just a video.
Yeah,
like
right.
every video has
Right.
symbolism in it. It's
How
like,
do you
go
feel
again.
how do you feel about that woke conscious community?
Well, I first of all, I think woke is, that's past tense, my nigga. You need to be awake.
man,
in this
like.
shit. But so if we're gonna go to the strict symbolism of what the word is and things like that, I think you should be awake. You should be present tense, trying to do something about those choices that we talked about earlier. In terms of revolting against this society. But so yeah,
do you
and to
feel
know
like-
exactly what you're being told is a part of being awake, and it comes with the present consciousness of knowing that everything that we're taking in the media is white biased and white based, and everything it gets us to be in this capitalistic model. So if you don't understand that and everything that you're taking in, then that's not being woke or awake. You
To
have to
somebody-
understand where you're living in and what society you live
So to somebody having Kanye's view on the slavery
Yeah.
standpoint, to listen to what you just said,
Mhm.
they hit you with that's the prison that you putting yourself in, the slavery that Kanye talking about, because you saying that you in this society, but if you're in this society, if you don't look at slavery the same way that you look at a prison, because slavery and prison is like the same way, right?
Yeah.
You living
It's
up
the
under
new age slave.
exactly. So but you living up under the constraints or something. So the people there, they want to get out, they want to get free. They can revolt, they can fight, they can kill a guard or two. But at the end of the day, it's like this shit is set up for you to fucking fail.
Yeah,
You're gonna
agreed.
die. We're gonna kill you, or you're gonna, something
I
like that's
agree
gonna
with
happen. So it's the same thing. But if you
So when you want to die, my nigga? That's basically what we
And
going
how
at.
you wanna die.
When do you want to die? Do you want to die revolting and have your meme come out and have
do you pay
some
your car
cool
insurance?
shit?
Do you pay your car insurance?
Nah,
He said the meme.
no, I don't.
Do-
Now what?
Do you pay your is the registration on your car paid?
Nah,
Do you pay your rent?
nah,
You living free?
yes.
Okay.
Now,
Off-
that was your question.
Easy
No,
answer.
no.
I'm saying if you want,
They've been trying to evict me for 2 years. No, nigga. No.
you had to do something to put gas in your car, or whatever. Either way it go, you had to
I
make money.
entertain, man. I think the main responsibility in our
Yes.
society is to give your gifts to society.
Mhm.
When we start doing the capitalistic model of doing your gifts for money and things of that nature, you're bound to fail. You're bound to think about yourself getting more means in order to sustain yourself than thinking about the society. There's people that have myriads of talents, from down to people that can see the tiniest speck of dirt and being great janitors and maids and things like that, to being leaders and able to understand concepts of getting mass people together. There's these
But do you-
social tiers that we don't understand that can be part of society, but we don't use them because we use them for individual means.
Well, G, how many?
I didn't practice for this shit in the mirror, nigga.
Well, how
He
you
was
With
ready
my
for it.
brush, nigga. We good.
how many people? What percentage of people do you really feel like actually take those gifts and really cherish them?
Well, I think you forced to not. I was talking to the homegirl who raps and everything, and another homegirl that was doing comedy. She talking about, yeah, I gotta do this one hustle or this one job in order to fuel my side hustle, the things that I love, the things that create, make people happy, things of that nature. You give into society and these things, but the capitalistic model means you have to make money. Means I have to go put some gas in the car somehow. I gotta act, but I feel like those things that I'm doing are for society, and I would do them for free, and I don't pay for everything. My credit fucked up, you know what I mean? But that's okay with me because I don't really want to work in that model either. I hope that before them bills is due, we revolt, my nigga.
Well, what you think it's gonna take for the revolt to
Oh,
pop
you
off?
want to know?
I want to know.
Well, first it takes. You getting into my book, you're gonna have to pay for it when it come out.
Hey, come on, man. You know,
$25.99, nigga.
if these is
They
gifts,
have a
if
date,
these
they
is
have a
gifts, my
release
nigga,
date.
they need
I'll
to
give
be
it
the
to you for
gift.
free, my nigga.
All right,
Have a
cool.
release date?
No,
All right.
it doesn't. In fact, once I release it, I'll be dead. So that's
They gonna get
that's
you.
on. I mean, for real.
I I dig it.
I mean, you know, just like Bill Cosby's son, my nigga. But we not gonna get into all of that.
Damn.
Oh, Lord.
It's been a rough week, man.
It's about to be like the gems he dropped on this show. Like, we about to all be fucked up.
Yeah, right. I
bro.
can soundbite this bitch up,
Oh,
nigga.
man.
Like,
This motherfucker.
they be like, G-Dot's...
Nigga, Illuminati gonna be at our door in the morning.
It's been rough for black folks, man.
But
Look now.
I forgot what I was saying. But, you know, in terms...
No, but even when you use your gifts and you use your talents to get into whatever industry that you're gonna get into, it's like who dominates it and who has the power and the money for that industry might not be the person who looks like you, might not be the person.
The way it's currently constructed, it's all gonna be evil, brother.
So, but
So
you
as long as you getting paid for it, it's
evil. Do you
evil.
feel like the white power system is trying to manufacture evil through black people?
I think evil is a DNA construct. You know what I mean? And it's within all of us.
Expound on that. Like,
Well, I mean, first of all, I think whites created evil. In regards to continental drift, you know, we all started in
that's
one.
a strong statement.
That's a very strong
That's
statement.
a strong statement. But go ahead.
Yes. We all started on one land and then things, and via continental drift, those one
Pangea.
peoples, those one peoples.
You believe in Pangea?
I believe, that planets.
Pangea?
break
You know,
up
I
and
was
move,
looking.
yeah.
I was looking at the globe the other day, and I
call in
was
is
like,
310-955-49.
How was you looking at it, nigga?
No, I
Some
just
map,
was looking
nigga,
like
that the white man created.
I was looking like how all of this shit just evenly go to, like, when you look at certain coastlines.
Yeah.
How they all just fit together?
How all this shit just fit together.
I mean, if
you believe in global warming and you think that them icebergs melting, then that shit shouldn't still look like it fit together then.
I mean,
Because the water
I mean,
rose.
what I was saying
I
is,
believe we
I do
destroy-
believe there's some continental drift. I mean, and planet shaping. You know, planets grow over time. They don't stay in one.
You feel like
single-
all planets is round?
I mean, I don't know anything about space. I don't think we.
I
want to
go to your original point. I want to go to
that's
your
some bullshit.
original point when you said that white people created evil.
yeah.
Oh,
Can you
I think they
elaborate on
are
that?
evil innately. So what happened was that all people were the same. Continental drift happens, and that makes different peoples go out to different parts of our world.
Right.
The
And
north
adapt to that environment.
Exactly. Through genetic reconstruction, through basically generations of having to survive in those conditions, which is lack of resource, lack of
and that's why we have
lack of
different
self-sustaining
languages,
things and
different
things.
skin tones,
Indeed.
different facial
of light.
features,
Do you-
and
lack of light.
phenotypes.
So the lack of resources, particularly lack of sustainable resources, meaning fruits, vegetables, and things like that, as opposed to steel and those things that were naturally rich in the north. Those populations, first of all, had very much short lifespans. So you can able to change genetics throughout these short lifespans. Sure, certainly. Now we talk about generational DNA growth and things of that nature.
Because you have to adapt to the environment.
Those are hundreds of years. However, when you have lack of resources, this could be like 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. Then genetics changes rapidly.
Got it.
So with that, you're creating a DNA of a fear, of lack, of dealing with certain situations. And then now you're migrating for various resources and things like that. Your body's adapted to having to walk or going to certain things, or even getting certain resources that you do have and obtaining them, you know, and using them for certain purposes. That's how steel came about and things like that. You learn that you can dig things and things like that, make it into other tools. So it's not very far fetched to think that they think we're animals at this point.
So
I get where you're going with this.
So do you how do you feel religion plays into the whole evil thing?
I mean, I think there's a reason why the white man said you can't read anything but gave you the Bible. So with that being said,
expound on that. Like, go deeper.
I mean, with that being said, I mean, I think religion is a white-based construction.
And gave you certain scriptures you got.
And if we talking about the Bible specifically,
Because the Bible.
I mean,
don't get me wrong. I'm not a religious.
Which version you got?
I'm not a religious
white man
person.
King James or white man?
I'm not a
something
religious
else?
person at all. I own 3 Bibles.
Right.
And it's a very
You live at a
intriguing.
motel?
It's a. This is back. I kept my Bibles
Every one
because
of them got
back
a
once
Bible.
upon a time I did believe
Got
in
all
it and
types of sin
everything.
going on at that motel.
I was looking for the answers and everything.
They got
but,
Bibles at the Snooty Fox.
But how do you like? It's a
What does that
very
tell you?
intriguing story. But how do you feel like people use that? How do you feel like people use the Bible to perpetuate evil?
I mean, if you're talking about, I mean, non-inclusion based
Or
on
do you feel
based
like
on a
it's,
religion.
or do you feel like religion is a control system?
I mean, it definitely is. It gets you to believe that you can toil in this life, and there's ultimately something that you can look forward to. It's the reason why a lot of slaves stayed in the position that they did, because they feel like they was going to get it in the next life. We work hard now. Somebody is looking down on us and saying that we've learned the test that we need to learn in order to get there.
And that's the
I get it.
That's my biggest issue with most modern religions now, is that they tell you suffer here, go through hardships and go through heartache here, because when you die you'll get something better. Meanwhile, the person who we perceive as the devil, the white man, gets his heaven here while he on earth. He get to enjoy the fruits of somebody else's labor here.
Well,
Meanwhile, we
that-
slaved
that
and
is
toiled and
true.
gave them
It's not created equal.
And that speaks to the mental slavery part of it. Like just to bring it all full circle, the fact that we gotta bust our ass and suffer here and cry here and die here and bleed here. Meanwhile, the white man get everything while he's here. He ain't gotta wait.
If you look, if you look at the Bible, it
Certainly
says
the Rothschilds
the world,
ain't
the world
not
is
evil.
inherently evil. The world is naturally evil. So if the white man is on top here in the world,
I don't
he's
believe
naturally
that.
That's
evil.
a Leviathan
Naturally?
Hobbesian theory that I don't subscribe to.
Naturally?
Baby-
Wait,
babies
hold on.
don't-
Rewind. What was that
He
again?
said the world
They
is
say-
naturally
I'm
evil.
saying the Bible says in the world, like when people are born, they're naturally evil until they accept.
So you don't feel like evil is learned behavior?
That's bullshit.
I feel like evil is learned behavior. I'm
I already
saying this to
said
go
it's
to the
genetic
point. I'm
right
saying this
now,
to go to.
too,
That's
so
why I'm saying.
I'm
I'm
already
saying this
on
to go to
record.
the point that I want to go to saying.
I don't know how. I can't agree that evil is genetic, bro.
You know why?
That's
I
what
feel like
that's
it's
what
all
I'm
learned
going
behavior.
back to.
Well, I think
Hey, bro,
for
here's the
white
biggest-
people it is.
Here's the biggest trap in it. The biggest trap in it is that they've said stuff like that in religions to get you to
The
believe
white
in them.
people it is.
Saying that unless you have this God, unless you accept this God, then you're damned.
And then you're genetic is what we want to talk
No,
about.
Which
what I'm
is a
saying-
whole
no,
mental
this is what I'm saying,
construct
bro.
of
Look
acceptance anyway.
look at other parts of the world where Christianity or Islam or Judaism hasn't touched.
I was thinking about that too.
They haven't touched, and there's still
Well,
people that
they
are blessed there.
they use the excuse that if they ignorant of what those teachings are, then you're supposed to be cool with
You
too.
cool.
I honestly feel like
But
all
if you
religions
learned
is
about it
looking
and
at the
shunned
other
it,
ones
then
talking about
you're
y'all
going to
all
hell,
going
my
to
nigga.
hell.
Like, first of all,
I agree
man,
with
That's
that.
how I feel.
man,
So
we
because
gotta
I don't
do what we
agree
gotta
with the
do.
way you
That's,
think.
That's the present tense that I be talking
So because-
about.
But
And
this is
present
but
tense.
this all could round back right back to what the whole social conversation of us talking about the stuff with Kanye is like. What you think? Like, what were you trained to believe? You're taught how to think by the situation that you put in.
But that's indoctrination.
That's why most things are institutionalized, and that's why I'm saying to escape a construct that we call slavery at a certain point. That's a construct that you were born into, a way of thinking, like the whole construct of how everything was that you were born into, that it's hard to escape.
That's
There
just
are
like
leaders.
we need a paradigm shift.
There are leaders and there are people that have gifts that are able to orate these concepts, but because of our capitalistic structures, we cannot get them to the masses we need to get them to, and it's almost impossible.
So what do you feel is the alternative?
Man, we got to be on some, what is that show on AMC? Walking Dead type shit. You got to just be, I tell you, you have to go back to zero. You have to go back to zero in order to change this stuff. Like, you got to change even the electric models. Because that's generally, if you, so you asked me before, you asked me before, how do we start? You start by getting rid of wealth, which is electricity at this point, because all wealth is transferred through electronics at this point. All the billions we're talking about, we're not even talking about hardcore resources and things like that, which money is supposed to be based upon. So if you get rid of electricity on a worldwide scale, you get rid of wealth. That's where it starts. But you also get rid of basically all creature comforts in this world, from farming.
So
and,
pretty
and
much we
things
just
like-
need a reset.
need
So
to reset?
if you're saying that there's a possibility that we reset and then we all go back to zero, right?
Some niggas is gonna die.
Well, I mean,
A lot of
obviously,
niggas,
if we
including myself.
Well, you see they
if
coming
we-
out with a
hold on
lot
one
of.
second. So if we reset back to zero, and that includes us dying as a people, who do you think would be?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, who's
who
going to advance
carries
to the
the
next.
torch to the next? Who feeds this society to be able to give specific gifts to society? It's a
You know
tough.
who
That's
has-
why
And
it
not
hasn't
even-
been happening.
not
You
even-
know what?
It's such
you know
a
who has
But
the best
theoretical
answer to
without
that?
on the, I want to expand on. I
Yeah.
want to expand on that. Outside of the social gifts and the
Yeah.
things that we would be able to
contribute to society.
to contribute, and I say we because I think the answer is black people. But genetically,
Yeah.
genetically speaking, it's been proven that black people we're superior.
Yeah,
We're superior beings. So with that being said, is the answer black people? Would you say that, or
yes.
heavily melanated black people if we went back to zero?
Yes, I would agree that people around the equator had the best lifestyles and best mental progression,
and we're
through generations.
genetically dominant as well.
Indeed, the conundrum here is that the white folks have penetrated all of society in every single
Which birthed the concept of you saying that we would have to ultimately go back down to zero.
Exactly.
Because all of us.
And then we have to grow organically from what has survived, those times. You know what I mean? Got to do all that eco culture.
And
that
that's
I don't
the
know.
thing.
That's exactly why I feel like that isn't the answer. I feel like the answer isn't.
That's
color.
because you value your life more than you value the tomorrow society's life. And that's okay.
No, listen to what I'm about to say. Listen to what I'm about to say.
You can value your
I
life.
don't think it's color because it's not about my life. I could die for this shit.
Right.
It's not about what color you are.
It's about evil, though.
No, it's the youth. The youth are the key to it because once you're older and set in your ways, that's it. Only from the youth and from the babe and not growing up with a twisted mind that was poured into you.
Hey, what's progress in this society?
A baby can be born pure if it's not fed any ideas or any way of thinking.
Where does
So
progress-
the only way to truly start
That's
over
not
is
likely
to start.
though, Jalil.
The only way to truly start over is to start with something that is new from scratch.
Lil,
That
I
can't be
agree with
tainted
you.
or
But
tampered
you
with.
can't because
Lil,
no child.
I agree with what you
All
just
spread.
But
said.
that has
Lil.
nothing to do with a color.
However,
It just has
I
to do
think
with the
that you're-
mindset.
Lil,
talking
I
about
agree with
progress.
what you're saying, but I think that you misconstrue what he and I were discussing about. Like, hypothetically, if the human race went back down to zero. But I do agree with you in terms of how we can become influenced from infancy to adulthood. You know what I'm saying? And it has nothing to do with race.
No, I didn't
agree with that, but I
misconstrue it.
think-
He said about going back to black. And so that's what I was making the comment
Well,
on.
going back to zero, I said going back to black.
But he had commented on black, and that's what I was commenting.
Okay.
I said it had nothing to do with black. It's more about resetting the mind.
Yeah.
The mind has nothing to do with
Yeah,
the skin
and sometimes
complexion.
the resetting that mind, and if you talked about evil genetics and things like this, that's what I was saying in terms of where do you stop in terms of, because if you don't go back to zero down to zero people actually, then you have to see who stays in this pool. Is that evil going to still be penetrated through that pool that's left?
You know what?
I think it breaks the color barrier because I've seen black people that are evil and I've seen white people do good. So it has nothing to do with your melanin or your level of melanin.
I think it has something to do with some amount of genetics and white people's influence
I'm
from the
just
north.
talking about
even when it
genetics,
comes
bro.
from
like
Africans in Africa.
genetically, like if we're just speaking on genetics, that's where I'm talking.
Yeah,
I'm talking.
Yeah,
from
color
place
is
of
something a
science.
little bit different because there's a lot of mixed niggas out there, that be
Most-
black and stuff like that. And I have my thoughts about that, but I mean in general, that's part evil, my nigga.
Most of the world's population,
That's part evil,
most
my
of the
nigga.
world's population is going to be
spawned
mixed
from evil,
in the
Jalil.
in the next
That's
30
evil.
in the
I
next
mean,
30
just
years.
50%.
I'm spawned
Just
from
50%.
evil.
I got like 12% of evil in me too, my nigga. It's cool. How you
What-
think I get this color?
What we not? What
It's
we,
evil color.
was not being said and was not understood. These learned behaviors are things that have went on for hundreds of years. So the constraint that you in is not just something that's gonna easily be overturned because you have love, you got feelings, you got a psyche, you have a conscience.
Yeah.
You can't just overturn your fucking conscience. You can't
People
just
know when they
overturn your
doing
psyche.
wrong, nigga,
So-
but they don't feel no consequence behind doing wrong, so they continue to do
You can
wrong.
meet the
And
most
that's what
evil
evil is.
motherfuckers.
Everybody
You can meet the
knows
most-
that everybody knows that behavior that goes unpunished, nigga, is likely to continue.
You can meet the most diabolical motherfucker that you've ever met, but at the end of the day, we got a call on the line.
Punishment.
We gotta.
man.
You can meet the most diabolical person that you've ever met, in life, but I guarantee you, for the people around them, they actually can say that
Hello?
they love, they'll kill you.
Yo.
Yeah. Welcome to Cliff Notes Radio.
Yeah. I go by the name of Jason Cash, and I'm from Carson, California.
Hey.
You know,
What's that,
Arson?
Cash?
yeah, man. I was just listening, man, and I just had a question because my man's raised his hand when he about being mixed, and
Talking about you, Tori.
I don't want to misquote, but it sounded like you said that's part evil in him, and I'm just kind of like.
You talking about G Dot or you talking about Tori?
You know,
Cash.
Tori.
Hey, my
I'm
nigga,
acknowledging that.
I done already come to terms with my evil, my nigga. I can't do nothing about it, man. I didn't even ask to be this evil, bruh.
because this my whole thing is like I feel like as far as like the whole black, white, and all that shit, it's like I get a little frustrated like with black people at times because it's like a lot of times we say shit that if other motherfuckers said, it would piss us off. Like if white people just said like genetically that we're evil by just by
They've
being
said
black,
that,
like
nigga.
or
They've
just with
said
our genetic makeup or whatever. It's like we're not gonna let that shit slide. And you know what I'm saying? Not saying that I'm in here caping like for the other side, but I don't think that's accurate to say. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody, at the end of the day, it's like everybody is made up of what comes from your parents, and you know that comes from, you know, of course you can trace your lineage and all that shit, but at the end of the day, it's like, even with your genetic makeup, like we all have a balance. We all have a balance in us. And then we have to learn. We learn young, right from wrong, and we move with our own moral code as we get older and all those type of things. But it's just like you gotta. If we walk around saying like that shit is already in somebody, if you look at a white person and you just in your mind just see evil, you know what I'm saying? You can't blame Billy for looking at me and just seeing nigga. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like when you say some shit like that, it's the same shit, and I don't think that was cool, bro. That's all.
I would like to say don't get caught up in the sound bites and whatnot, because I do think there's a deeper thing. You can handle your evil in a lot of different ways, but I'm recognizing that we all have a little bit of evil in us because of what we're doing in this society. To be subscribed to capitalism is emphatically evil. To not care about society and care about individuals in general, and meaning yourself, as opposed to a collective good that will make everyone better, including yourself.
But what Jason said,
I can agree with that.
Then that is an evil that is hard to be penetrated. And you can manifest yourself in many good ways. I'm not saying the brother is the brother T doesn't do good, but I am saying that. And that's what puts us in the conundrum of who do we kill when we do kill all the evil off. You know what I mean? But I do think that there is the collectiveness in society that thinks about the individual, and that indeed comes from our evil side. You know, it was the melanin induced the equator influenced peoples who brought about love because of the sedentary lifestyle, about being closer together and things of this nature. You know what I mean? So as opposed to the northern lifestyle,
where's the white people being inherently evil coming from though?
I mean, I said it comes from a whole generations of where they lived and lack of resources and fear and things of that nature.
So
when
living
they
in
travel
poverty,
down,
living in poverty makes you evil, is what you're saying. So living in a lack of resources.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
come on.
Wow,
that's a cliff note right there.
That's what I'm saying. I'm really trying to figure out what's being said.
Can I just? I just want to ask one more thing before I get up out of here. Just based off what you just said, like from their lack of resources and whatever. So it's like, my nigga, if I'm born in the Nickersons, you feel what I'm saying? I grow up and that's all I see is like, do that naturally make me
first of all,
that mean I'm gonna have the game banging in me. That mean I'm gonna sell dope and all that shit. Cause that's
you're talking about it on an individual basis.
We have a lack
genetically.
of
I'm talking about over a periods of generations of genetic culturing, as opposed to just the one time, in the projects for now. But I do believe that. Yes, there's a reason why they call it the projects. The reason why they made up the projects, my nigga.
Yeah.
It was to influence this behavior.
But look to what you said. It isn't even in spite of. It's a complement of. The fact that you're saying that all these things have happened over time and over
yeah,
generations,
and that's what I'm saying, because you making it sound like they just born with this shit, like it's just
no.
like it's
I'm
just
not
in
saying
them.
that you just going with gangbanging. I do think it is a social construct that makes it more likely than not that you're going to be a part of what's your current environment. And yes, I'm not saying that people can't get out of it, or it's right or wrong. I'm just saying it exists. Saying that yes, it exists.
That's why I say it's
what I think is evil is when niggas just blame everybody else for shit. That's why I think it's evil. Niggas gotta stop doing that bullshit and just blaming. Like, I had a conversation with my partner or whatever. Like, be like, yeah, it's a trap. The white man that set us up for this and that. All right, nigga, now you know it's a trap. Nigga, if you fall into the trap, bro, don't just blame the white man, my nigga. Right. You gotta look at yourself too, because you know what it is.
Boom.
So I don't just look at them niggas. I don't just look at them niggas as the evil. Like I don't know, man. But I'm gonna let y'all get back to. I'm still tuned in. I just want y'all to know I really do listen. I just didn't pull up that one time and it just showed up. I fuck with y'all. Keep doing what you're doing. Cause with the good slinging that wood, not that stick. Your man might keep it 100, but he gonna keep giving you that extra inch. You know what I'm talking about?
You already know.
Hey, Cash. Hey, we stay spinning your shit, nigga, too, on the breaks, nigga.
So, man, we gonna go to your shit first, man.
Yeah. Off top.
Hey, thank you, bro.
Time we got, man.
It's round of 9.
Y'all, man, we gonna run to a little break right fast.
Yeah.
I want to thank Jason for calling in, man. That's the homie, bro. Man, go fuck with his music. Go fuck with everything he doing, dog. Make sure y'all stay tuned. The number to call in is 310-955-4966. Make sure you subscribe to the page, Cliff Notes Radio. Make sure you go follow G.Hill on Instagram. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Jalil, take us out to some Jason Cash.
You already know it. Call out and Gangsta Party. Shout outs J Cash.
Look, I'ma need all my beautiful ladies to head to the dance floor right now. If you got your own money, make your own decisions. Don't need nobody help with nothing. It's your time. It's your time to you. Let's go, Stevie Hart's in the building. Take that. Say all you gotta do is put your house in it, right? Best things in life come in threes. All them broke bitches swear they just wanna bees. If you on your shit, you the one I wanna see. And you know I like it cause you don't run to me. Make me wanna come and see. So what's it gonna be? You the type I tell, baby, have a son with me. Come have fun with me and stack these songs with me. You a triple threat, baby girl, we gonna see. Like, you are a compliment, girl, and I like that. Your future is promising, baby, cause like that. I'm looking on Insta, them pictures I might tap. I DM you right back, come see me, then fly back. Women bout their business when they look at you different. Baby, even cooking got benefits. Get your bed, putting money on your books while you in the shit. Relate to see the hood while you in this bitch. She got her own car, she got her own job, she got her own crib. She a triple threat, shorty real loyal, and she stay fly. She even get high, she a triple threat. Shorty cook good, she book her own flights and stay home at night. She a triple threat, she got her own car, she got her own job, she got her own crib. She a triple threat, she a triple threat. Saying come and put you right. Look away, I see your eyes from the right side. And the playing games that we can play. She got a cute face, slim waist, thick legs in shape. Rump shaking, I know one. Dating when you love, making get some patience, but that's what I like on the flip side. Gotta be about something to ride this ride. That intelligent face with the thick thighs, and she handle the shit so she get high. We gon' pass the blunt, pass the blunt, pass the blunt, pass the blunt. Smoking with me, smoking with me, smoking with me, smoking with me. She got her own car, she got her own job, she got her own crib. She a triple threat, shorty real loyal, and she stay fly. She even get high. She a triple threat, shorty cook good, she book her own flights and stay home at night. She a triple threat, she got her own car, she got her own job, she got her own crib. She a triple threat, and she a triple threat. Yeah, you a triple threat. We already know that you a triple threat. So put your hands up if you a triple threat. 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 Yeah, you a triple threat. Say all you gotta do is put your house in, right? Say all you gotta do is put your house in, right?
What's up, brother?
Yup. Chilling, you good?
Yes, sir. How about yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good. What's new?
I got some good news and I got some bad news. Which one you want first?
Shit, I'll go with the good news.
We got you scheduled to perform next Saturday at Summerfest main stage.
No way.
Yes, sir.
Turn up, main stage.
The bad news is the DJ has a specific track that you have to have a song ready to perform by next Saturday.
That's not no bad news. That's easy.
All right, well, you got to get to work.
Okay, well, you sticking around for a second?
Nah, I got a couple more meetings I got to head out to, so I'm going to have to catch up with you later.
Okay.
Look, say homies ain't homies. Your bros a term homie. Quick to switch up on a nigga getting his own green. Colors what they see, acting like a female. Replica ass nigga can't buy him on retail. Retailing all of your business because he feel some type of weight like a bitch. That's on my dick. Tell her back up a second. Fucking all my old hoes thinking they in heaven. Well, I'm about to pull you down, Lord. Nigga got a battle when you checking all the posts. Yeah, her ass way fatter, huh? Mama feel bad for you. She know you a sadder son. Trying to get where I'm at, gon' have to climb the ladder, bruh. And to let you know, I pray that you grow. I hope that yourself is someone you could know. Cause eyes like mine can tell you that you ain't true. And hate niggas on my team is something that I can't. So who that nigga that you talk about? Always counting that cheese. Stay fresh when he hit the scene. Who that nigga that you talking about? Used to eat with the nigga, but now you're salty with the nigga. Who that nigga that you talking about? Say who that nigga that you talking about? Say who that nigga that you talking? Who that nigga that you talking? Who that nigga that you talking about?
Yo, Stevie Harris is hella dope. He's about to be big.
I was thinking the same thing.
I like the song. Hold up, why y'all always happen to dude up, man? He ain't even all that. I swear y'all be putting extras on everything, man. Rapping ain't even hard. I bet you I could start the day and be just as good, if not better.
Someone sounds kind of salty.
Well, It's Compton City. I'm very affiliated with baby gangsters. Young hot boys that got problem with that anger. Won't shake you, but never having a problem coming stankin'. Burn away they pants down, just like an anchor. Running in your pocket, shake your finance like a banker. You thought you was tough until you stared down that chamber. But jeez, nigga, please, don't try to step. I know a lot of young niggas trying to earn their respect. Don't try to mediate because I never will forget. Better stay in your lane, you get smoked like a cigarette. I'll bring you the pain, you say something that's incorrect. More the chain of events, the more that I recollect. Niggas like y'all is what I call wannabes. Plot on my fall, I'm overhauling, need a nominee. I'm trying to ball while you appalled that I'm an honoree. I pollinate another nigga in your fucking bus. So who that nigga that you talk about? Always counting that cheese, stay fresh when he hit the scene. Who that nigga that you talking about? Used to eat with the nigga, but now you salty with the nigga. Who that nigga that you talking about? Say who that nigga that you talking about? Say who that nigga that you talking? Who that nigga that you talking? Who that nigga that you talking about?
Who you talking about? Say who that nigga that you talking about? Who you talking about? Yeah, who that nigga that you talking about? Who you talking about? Yeah, who that nigga that you talking about? Ow, ow, ooh, ooh, ooh. Who that nigga that you talking about? Wow, 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 ooh, ooh, ooh. Who that nigga that you talking about?
Say whoa, let's talking about. Oh, let's talking about. I'm down. Oh, say whoa, let's talking about. Oh, you talking about.
Yo, we are back. You know, Cliff Notes Radio. Y'all know we go live every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Might be a little bit off from 8, but if you subscribe to the channel on YouTube, you'll never miss when we go live. So make sure you go do that. The number to call in is 310-955-4966. We got G-Dot Hill in the building.
Yeah.
Man, this is the segment of the show where we give our queen her time. It's called Mindful Mondays. Run that jingle.
Yeah.
Mindful Mondays, nigga, do you care about you?
Good looking out, bros.
Oh, yeah.
So, tonight's Mindful Monday topic, I wanted to call it Entrepreneur, the season of no apologies. And
that's great with our topic.
Huh?
Go ahead. That's great with our topic. Go ahead.
So I think that as entrepreneurs, as creatives, as artists, we tend to ask for permission a lot, and social media plays a huge role in that. Right down to how many followers we think we should have, and it's like social media and social media influence has kind of like penetrated art rather than us focusing on the objective of creating art. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I'm a dope painter, I'm looking for permission by having a lot of followers. And it's like, if I compare myself to somebody else who has a bunch of followers on social media, I feel like my art isn't reaching its peak or it's not good enough. And I think that in creating and with, putting events together and stuff like that, I have a group of people that I notice don't come out to my events. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we converse a lot. But I notice that they don't come out to my events, and then it's kind of like, when you get to a certain level in your artistry, you want to hope. I mean, you don't want to hope for this, but there's going to be a point where you get to a level of your artistry where you're unattainable, where maybe your number changes or your influence changes or your reach becomes limited. And then I'm not saying that it's a good thing that we should act brand new, but I think that we need to be more unapologetic with creating. So it's like, just to break that down, stop asking for permission. You know what I'm saying? Stop asking for permission or dimming your light to make other people feel comfortable. if you think that you're the dopest comedian and that's just what you think about yourself, be unapologetic in that.
Yeah.
Think and know and feel that you're the best comedian. You know what I'm saying?
I think a lot of the problem that you said at the end about losing, people around you and things like that by you getting unattainable. I think a lot of that happens early on when you apply the principles that you just said. When you really own in on who you are and how you value yourself, you stop accepting bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, it doesn't matter about my followers. This is what I do. This is where I know that I'm at. And when you have that mind space of you really when you on your job, it shows. Nobody got to tell nobody that you working hard, because hard work is gonna always show. You wouldn't see certain people if they wasn't working hard. They might have 2,000 followers and you might have 26. Somebody might have 26 and you never see them because they might not be working as hard as this person with this too. You know what I'm saying? Going to a club, performing, actually getting out with people, being unapologetic about who you are. That's why I say it ties into our subject with the censorship. You get a lot of people around away from you who gonna hurt you early on by being yourself, because you're gonna turn them the fuck away already.
Yeah.
They already gonna get away from you.
And we in an era now where, we done moved on from that time period where you can appreciate art later. And we're in an era now where there's so much technology and the media's out there where you can really appreciate the shit now while it's happening and it's unfolding in front of you. And you need to appreciate those artists that are out around, because it's like you have that time, you have the opportunity to say that I watched it. I watched it happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have to appreciate the person when they're dead or when they're vanishing. Nobody knows where they're at. You can appreciate the shit now, especially if these is people that you actually know. If these is people that you can touch, and these is people that you go out and you see all the time. You can go up to them and say, listen, this is some dope shit you got here. And you don't have to marvel at this shit 20 years from now when you got kids and they wondering what the fuck it is. You can actually be like, no, I know that person.
Yeah, and that actually ties us into the hot topic, because I feel like that's when our creativity is compromised, is when we start asking for permission from other people to validate us. Which we see that with the Kanye situation, right? It's like most of the things that he said in his interview when he sat down with Charlemagne was that he wanted the people who he looked up to, like the Walt Disneys, the LVM group, those individuals, he wants validation. And he wants validation in his art when, in the first place, we already valued him as an artist. That's why he is where he is now. So when your creativity becomes compromised because you're trying to fit in with what's politically correct, you forget that you have to take competition out and put creativity in the forefront. That's how you're going to thrive, because it's free enterprise. There's a lane for everybody.
Everybody.
There's a market for everybody.
There's people out there.
G-Dot, you made a face. Do you agree?
Well, I mean, I think he did address some of that free enterprise. He's like, yeah, I can make my own shoe branch, my own shoes, but I don't have access to these specific markets. I don't have access to these specific materials and things like that. He basically running at zero profit for a long time if he tried to get these same materials, not through Nike, not through Louis Vuitton and things like this.
Right.
And so yeah. But I mean, I agree with wholeheartedly that, and I think it's a little bit easier with comedians because we kind of expected to talk shit a little bit more, expected to kind of push boundaries a little bit more. But like, for musicians even, you gotta, that hit song is gonna be the one that's probably destructive to the community, my nigga. You know what I mean? Channels that want to social engineer us.
People years later, 20, 25 years later, talking about, well, this is the pain that he was going through, and this is what he was trying to say, and this is what he was trying to convey to the people. And it's like, well, why y'all waiting years later to say this shit?
I want to ask this question though, because do you feel that in being unapologetic and not comparing yourself to social norms is also very fucking dangerous?
I mean, if you want to get money, money.
Well, I
mean, you have to. I mean, we have this big old riff in the comedy community. You know, the Instagrammers versus the true stand-up comedian motherfuckers.
How does that work? Explain that.
Well, the Instagrammers basically have made sketches and things like that, things that you can make videos of, not necessarily your stand-up routine, and basically gain like thousands, millions of followers. And then they come to the comedy clubs to do stand-up,
and it don't work.
And with 2,000 followers,
they will pack a fucking comedy club. Comedy clubs usually, 100 to 700 people, whatever, on a huge basis, and they will pack that comedy club, but they be very soft when it comes to stand-up. That's not what they do. They can make various takes on some shit that on a comedy premise.
Yeah.
But they're not stand-up comics. They don't have that wit. They don't even have the structure to tell a story in a coherent manner.
I think that's because social media it's not brand new, but it is still relatively new.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, but there's people that have been. I mean, I've been a stand-up comedian. For 4 years. Okay. And I've done whatever I've done in this. I've done comedy writing since 2006, since I got out of Stanford and things like that. So in red
comedy writing
like TV shows and stuff like that.
Right. Do you feel like the roles reverse when it comes to stand-up comedians then taking on, social media and trying to create sketches? Do you feel like they
Sometimes. I mean, sometimes they just they don't know how to put their story into the right frame for a video, and they don't have the social networking. So yeah, you still got 2,000 followers, my nigga.
Where do you feel like as a comedian who's been able to do both? Where do you feel like your your humor and your art really is compromised? Is that on stage or is that through social media?
I mean, I say what I'm gonna say. Especially on stage. I think stage, there's a reason why Dave Chappelle don't allow cell phones and things like that. There's a reason why the original stand-up comics have a problem with going on to Instagram, is because it's that art of being off the cuff. It's that art of being in a conversation with your audience.
You
and them taking on that experience.
And I think
you got to be there,
for me to make money.
Exactly. You got to be there to get my message, though.
And that and going back to what you said about the gifts, I think people don't want their gifts watered down.
Yeah.
They don't want their gifts diluted. They don't want you to take that shit and show it to somebody else, and then it's like, well, whenever I come to perform, it's like, well, niggas are already expecting this.
True comedy comes from the unexpected. You know what I mean? That's comedic structure. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
like one premise and then going off the premise a little bit. You know what I mean?
Have you ever been bumped by a celebrity comedian?
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what being a up and coming comic is. You know,
who have you been bumped by?
I mean,
are we just asking? I'm asking.
No. I mean, there's many of people that have bumped me. I mean, Marlon Wayans and Shang and stuff like that. But I mean, it's been on a minor scale because I usually do various.
Well, Marlon is new to stand up.
Yeah.
So it's.
I mean, I got some.
But it's his buzz already though. He's already a star.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly. That's how a lot of people. That's what I'm saying though. That's how a lot of people are getting into stand-up now, is by there's a buzz around them. They can get people in the seats, and so they're contracted instead of the people that are out there every day, being on 1 or 2, 3 mics a day, just to get out their material and feelings and get and hone their craft, whereas they haven't honed their craft. They're honing it in a different area, which is still technically comedy. It's just not stand-up.
Yeah.
So and then they claim to be stand-up comedians and tell their same stories, but then they're just storytellers a lot.
How you feel about your boy JB Smooth?
Of him getting booed out of Atlanta?
In Atlanta, yeah.
I mean, there's a crowd everywhere that can boo you, my nigga.
Yeah.
So I mean,
no, it's
whether you gonna take it or not, because I don't think he was the worst. I think he.
It's the fashion. It's the fashion that he went out.
I mean, there was this one time not too long ago where it was this tap out situation where like after 2 minutes they can boo you or clap or whatever, you know what I mean, so you can do the rest of your set. So I've been booed in that context where like boo, one of few people, but it probably wasn't the majority. And that's what it is. That's what it's about too.
Do you
know
feel
what I mean?
that builds you? Do you feel like that's
everything builds you? Every second that you able to come out, this is building me. But I mean, but in general, every time you're in front of an audience and you get one eyesight of what everybody's doing, or hear what's going on in that crowd, it helps you as a comedian.
Bro, every comedian been booed.
Yeah, when I talk to when I was talking to you,
I don't like some big ass comedians. I wouldn't probably boo them, but I mean, if I was trying to get off, I certainly did boo a couple, or at least tap on the table. That's what they.
But it's certain niggas that don't take that boo too well. You know, especially after you done achieved a certain.
Richard Pryor got booed, man. So I mean, like, who are you?
At the Hollywood Bowl.
Who are you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He got booed in front of 18,000.
He the GOAT, my nigga. So like, who are you? Like,
and that's why I said I
Rodney Dangerfield got booed. You know what I mean?
Every person can have their night in any field to where they fuck up and they not good. You know, like even football players, niggas fail. Like
it's also how you take that though. You got to take your loss well. When you take your loss on some hoe shit, niggas is not gonna let you.
Took it like on like a hoe.
Like.
When you supposed to do another hour?
No. When he went off stage, and was like, "Fuck niggas," and then was like, you know, they said he did an interview where he said he's not a nigga comedian, and we like, wait, hold on, bro. Like,
that's him being around.
So what was you doing before TV? You know what I'm saying? What was you doing before
Pootie Tang? Like he was in Pootie Tang though.
No, but what was you doing before TV and movies?
Niggas
you was in the comedy clubs.
Yeah,
niggas had to
doing the chilling circuit definitely.
Exactly. So for you to get up on stage in Atlanta, one of the last chocolate cities,
he wasn't one of the
big and say, but to just get up there and be like, "Fuck niggas," it's like, come on, bro, like why would you do that? You just take
bro,
your L.
that'll open up a whole can of worms of a whole bunch of niggas we can talk about that are using their platform as now a white platform, I guess. G-Dot, do you feel like you've ever had to pay any repercussions for the content that you talked about on stage? Maybe jokes you felt like went too far, or
usually not on stage, but certainly if I make a similar comment on like Facebook or something, I'll definitely be like, "Oh, nigga, you a rapist, you this, that, you that." You know what I mean? Like, I would never put my children in front of you, nigga. I was like, I just talked to this nigga at the college fair the other day, nigga. Like, shut your ass up. You know what I mean? But, like, you know, people are stuck in sound bites, man. And that's the difference between social media and real life. Like, you can analyze it. You can analyze it in your own brain and what these people are really talking about and not even having to confront niggas. You don't have to do anything. You just sit in this bubble, read this comment, and now you're getting this emotional response from this comment. Whereas on stage, like, you got to have a lot of balls to boo a nigga. You know what I mean? Like,
true.
If Atlanta booed you, nigga, get off the stage, take your check, go home. Who gives a fuck? They didn't want to see your ass.
What's your most touchy joke or your most controversial joke that you had to tell on stage?
I don't know. I mean, the one that I feel most uncomfortable is probably some masturbation type jokes or something like that. But
why do you feel uncomfortable if you write the content?
Well, I mean, it's just like,
he too grown.
I don't want to be gay and shit. You know what I mean? I don't want people to think about that me. But also, because
it's
like what it is.
When you do, nigga, when I tell that joke about a girl eating my ass, like that's a pretty vulnerable.
Yeah,
it's vulnerable.
I thought as a comedian, like the whole thing was to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you up there. The key to, and I tell every comedian that's coming up this is like, you got the first thing that you ever got to learn is be fearless.
Right.
So like, but that doesn't mean you're not fearful, that you don't have some amount of nervousness in your gut, because you want the laughs. You don't want to be side-eyed all the time, at least, unless you. So this is an orchestra. This is an orchestra.
Yep.
But the only reason why they're thriving off that is because they made it to be that way. They wanted the side eye there. That gives them the power. Now I can go on.
Right.
The biggest high. This is better than cocaine, nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm telling niggas what to do. Like, laugh now, nigga. Boom. I gave you
and
that
that's
shit.
The thing. If you get 10 niggas laughing in a room full of 100 people, next thing you know, you're going to have 60, 70 niggas laughing.
But with your punchlines, and that's what's different than a lot of the Instagrammers and things like that, they don't realize that this is a orchestrated techniques where you just boom, laugh now. It's not just, it's a funny story.
That's why a
It's
lot
like
of them are
boom,
funny
laugh
at
now,
stand-up.
boom, laugh now,
And
boom,
it's
laugh now.
and it's some
That's what you're
rough
supposed to be
it's
doing.
some rough comedy houses where nigga, if you don't get niggas laughing within that
I mean,
first
there's some
minute
rough
or-
bars, my
minute or
nigga.
two,
Shit.
Yeah.
Niggas gonna be
Ain't
like,
no security in bars.
Do you
nigga.
feel
Hey,
like?
yeah.
Do you feel
I have
like
a
you've
Mexican
had
joke
to
that has gotten
get
some
your
other people's skin.
motherfucking ass off stage.
What's the
nigga.
joke,
What's
bro?
the joke?
Well, the joke is basically, you know, I got my Ancestry.com report back. You know what I mean? And good news, I wasn't white. You know what I'm saying? but I was Mexican, though. You know what I mean? Not sure how my transition to Mexicana is going. You feel me? But like, you know, I don't know how I feel about being Mexican because I don't care for their priorities and shit. You know what I mean? Like, the Mexican priorities is all fucked up. You know, it's like number one, like Raiders. You know, like number two, Dodgers. You know, number three, God. You know, and like number four, tacos. And it's like tied with like how you gonna sell them tacos. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's making rap dogs, you know.
Oh no! Why he put Raiders on top of God?
But no, but he.
But
really,
then I
he really
got-
put
so
God
the-
next to the tacos though.
But
Yeah,
after
like
the
tacos is
but
life.
after the Dodgers though.
Exactly. But you gotta have Raiders and Dodgers before you have God.
Do you
But
feel
I was
like?
coming out of the Dodger Stadium the other day, and I was like, man, you know they had lost and shit. You know what I mean?
Hey,
I was like, man, fuck the Dodgers, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I hate them niggas. And the gang of Mexicans just swarmed up on me. Was like, hey Holmes, what you say? You say fuck the Dodgers, eh?
But
And
you
I
can
was
say
like,
fuck God and they
I
won't
was
trip.
like, nah. I said fuck God, my nigga. Like, you know what I mean? He was like, all right then, like say 15 Hail Marys and you're cool. You know, I'll give you the rosary beads off my rearview mirror. You know what I'm saying?
I dig it.
So yeah, that gets a little controversial sometimes in the right. But Mexicans usually take it good. It's usually other people that are a little more offended.
Do you feel like you've had to be more, you know, just cautious in like this whole? Because you said you've been writing for a while, but you've been performing for like the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Have you found yourself to be more politically correct or sensitive to the audience?
I mean, I always have material for different audiences. That's
Really?
Yeah, I mean, there's just things that people relate to. Like if I do a college audience, I'm not going to talk about paying bills and shit like this. You know what I mean? It's just it's a subject matter that people are able to get mentally.
Yeah.
You know, usually by age and creed and
Know
color
your
and shit
audience.
like that. Exactly. Know your audience. Know where you're going to get the most laughs, most likely. You know, and then there's shit that I try out on everybody. You know what I mean? And that's fine. I mean, there's shit that I say at open mics that I'm just going to talk shit about, whether I want to make it a routine or not. You know what I mean?
As me being a new comic, I noticed like I don't have no big dog comic friends. Like I don't have nobody. Like nobody.
You bound
nobody
to fail on that, my nigga.
I'm just saying.
You gotta know some people. You gotta hang out places. Like 80% of being a comedian is like hanging out and them seeing you. Like if you ain't seen, nigga, you're not a comedian.
Yeah.
That's basically it. You know what I mean? So when I hang out at the Comedy Store and all this other stuff and hobnob or whatever, it's all about being seen so they know you. And a lot of times that's how a lot of people get their shows too. And you know, they're not gonna know you from the radio show necessarily that you did 2 weeks ago. They're gonna know this nigga, you know, and I got a show coming up. I need people on it.
Right.
And then you right here.
Well,
you shaking my head right now. You funny right now, my nigga. You know what I mean? So that's how
and the thing I see with comedians too though, and jumping into the game as a new comic and just seeing it's like comedians have like we talked about the routine. Mm-hmm. It's like if you go certain places, because I've heard complaints about this, like stepping from being a spectator and just loving it to trying to do it. It's like I've heard the same thing and agreed in the conversation, seeing like comics, like every time you go to see this person, you hear the same jokes. Mm-hmm. You know, like why is it like? Is it a reason or what's up?
Well, I mean, telling jokes is a craft.
Right.
It's not just being funny and off the cuff. It's saying the same jokes and making you seem like it's off the cuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, because there's a structure to this, there's a revision to this. The worst comics do it off the cuff, but I normally know a few of them that don't do similar routines, like a Lunel, who just kind of talks and has like a funny cadence that always goes with a current topic that she's doing, and I'm sure she doubles it up millions of times.
Right.
Real comedians have a routine. That's simple as that. If you don't have a routine, and it's casual fans that go in and see those things, and that are there for 10 minutes and see the same 10-minute bit, but sometimes you gotta. I mean, I've seen the same routine for some bits for 2 years.
I have a question. Can you agree that, or do you feel that this whole stand-up comedy special genre that's blazing right now is a part of what's killing the whole.
Nah, everybody want a Netflix special, my dude. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta watch it. It's everybody got an audience. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I want a Netflix deal. Fuck it. You know, give me 5,000, nigga. I'm good. No, but I mean,
here you are tapping into the evil capitalist.
Exactly.
They just showed your black sister.
I mean, you know, that's what they do.
Monique.
I mean, that's what they do. I'm not. I mean,
no, they didn't.
You feel like.
They
feel like you
so
expect
it's like
all
with
of
that with that being said, is there anything you wouldn't do on camera?
I mean, I tend not to do gay parts. I mean, there's millions of gay things.
You tend not to do.
I mean, that's what I tend not even to look at those auditions.
Have you ever done one?
No.
Oh, okay. You said
tends not to.
Well, you know, there was one sketch I did that had me be more of a hairdresser type thing or something like that. That acted a little bit like, you know.
Hairdresser shit is gay?
Well, I mean, he was acting real
feminine.
Yeah, like he was gay.
Put his hands on the hips like this.
Yeah, you know what I mean. He brushed over the girl. You know what I mean.
Lip gloss
and
on
said,
and shit.
You know, called me too or something like that.
It
has some underpinnings there.
Stuff.
I'm sure.
$40.
What
Look
else?
at his nails.
Exactly.
Look at his nails. Like,
Cute. You know what I'm saying? Like, exactly.
Upstage, all these
Hey, you did
bitches
that
up in
snap
here.
real good, bro.
He didn't do the snapping the thing. It was just I can't do the thing, so I did the snap.
What else wouldn't you do?
I mean, I haven't done any full frontal nudity stuff or nothing like that. Mostly because my movie bod hasn't came in yet. Give me a couple months.
Got it.
Nah, man. I don't want to do a bunch of prison things. I've turned down a lot of prison parts and stuff like that, and I just don't want to be portrayed like that. I mean, I have a couple of gangster parts, but it's more on the low key things as opposed to being some of my violence things. But I mean, you know, money talks sometimes. But you know, I mean, I on the whole, there's a couple of things I just don't want to be gay or a girl on camera. Yeah,
I did. Yeah. Well, man, we talked about like people. I noticed jokes. You hear one comedian do a joke on one topic, then you hear another comedian do a joke on the topic, and sometimes what you hear in the joke might overlap. You know, how do comedians go about, you know, I know how I feel about it. I want to ask you, how do you feel about the joke stealing?
Oh, yeah, man. You shouldn't steal jokes, man. If you taking shit out of people's specials and shit and using it on stage on a daily basis because you in Virginia and nobody be subscribing to Netflix and shit, you know what I mean? Like,
you ain't shit.
Right. I mean, like, come on, my nigga. Get some material, cuz. You know what I mean? Like that. But, like, there's a difference between joke stealing and taking a premise and making it better from where it's been.
Has anybody ever stole one of your jokes?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Oh, I mean, you be on the scene, so
Yeah,
I figured
I
you would
don't think so. Maybe my joints ain't that good, so I don't know.
But this is what I'm.
I feel like they definitely came in. We travel the same sphere. There's premises that have never. Only really where you know where somebody's truly stealing is if they use the exact same words and the exact same phrases and shit like this.
Oh yeah.
And because I mean, like somebody tried to coin a catchphrase or something like, "Oh, is it just me?" or something like that. Like that's, everybody says some shit like that. How can you say you made a nigga? I was doing that 15 years ago, nigga. Yeah, because those words existed,
right.
Motherfucker. Like
no, but
you know, you got one like ham.
Because everybody said that
on the comedy set. I know niggas really beefing.
What happened to Hamburger?
I want to say
he died. I don't know.
But
I used to like that shit on Comic View though. I mean, that was funny to me. Hamburger. You know what I'm saying? That was funny to me. I'm sorry.
People, what I consider is still in a joke, like you said, is using the person words, but also the premise. That premise is not the same. Like I don't feel like all premises are the same. We might be talking about the topic might be the same.
There's a lot of Uber driver jokes that feel very much similar. And there's a lot of things that go on that are similar in people's lives.
So I'm not the only person that's had Uber drivers pitch jokes to me.
Yeah,
I've had Uber drivers literally like in the middle of an Uber drive,
type of pitch.
like throw
business pitches, my nigga.
Like really to throw their comedy material at me, like to see if it's funny.
Oh yeah.
It happens a lot, especially when I get Ubers in Hollywood area.
I don't tell a joke.
From actual comedians that are
Uber drivers.
Wow, I've had the Uber driver play his mixtape.
Yeah.
I've had a few
they be bumping
hot fire
music in
mixtapes.
Uber pool, my nigga. Like For real, like they just don't want to hear any passenger, nigga. No breath.
I've been in some cracking ass Uber pool. A lot of people talk down about Uber pool, nigga.
Hey, I ran
in
into
some Uber
QT
pool
the other day.
Yeah. One of them
In
other
the Uber
Mexican,
pool, nigga?
I ran
St. Patrick's
in the
Day
Uber
was a
pool. I ran into
cracking
you, bro.
Uber pool, my nigga.
Oh, yeah?
Cracking.
Who all was in that
I
motherfucker?
changed my destination. I was like, I'm off the y'all bitches, nigga. Like, it was cracking. We had a good time.
LA Uber pool, you can get anything though. Like just from doing, like for me driving Lyft, I've seen some wild shit. Like you pick up like weird ass dynamics of people. Like it was this. I actually picked up a dude. He was probably the same age, black dude, like the same age or whatever. So we listened to 21 Savage, and then
You
the
steal
next.
this joke?
No, I didn't. It's not a stolen joke. The next lady we pick up is just an old ass white lady, and so she get in, and I didn't want to just change the motherfucking music.
Oh,
so you know, this nigga just bitch, I'm bad business. And
I'm so dead.
I got like she did leave me a comment and just said she never heard so many bitches and bitches and niggas in one in like one city.
Well, maybe you need to listen when your family talk about it.
But when he got out,
now
he
she,
got out
now
before,
she can handle it.
He got out before her, and I did change the music for her. I was like, that's what he wanted to listen to, and you got in after him. Like,
Yeah, first
And
first
you
priority
You
music.
threw on some classical music.
nah, I threw
What did
on
she got?
Childish
Brooks?
Gambino. No, I threw on Childish
Oh, okay,
Gambino.
you gotta
She
trying
was
to get her
feeling that
away.
Childish
She started singing "Stay Woke." She was singing it.
Nah, they won't.
She just didn't want to get
man, she
assaulted.
knows-
But it say niggas creeping in there. That's why I say, how did she put niggas in the comment?
I don't know, man.
And she typed out niggas?
Did she?
No.
No, white people listen to music that say niggas.
Yeah.
They just.
I mean, how you think they sell records, man?
Everybody rap songs.
And they say nigga.
Yeah, like
They be in the car, nigga.
Chris Rock had one of the best jokes about the word nigga in a rap song.
Oh yeah,
nigga.
yeah. Chris Brown actually just made it like really fucking hilarious with that.
Oh, yeah, with the little dick
Freaky
shit.
Friday?
Yeah.
Can I really say nigga? And then he just started really
What's
harmonizing
up, my
nigga
nigga?
for four
My
bars.
nigga.
Like
Nigga.
Cause I'm that nigga.
Now,
nigga.
Lil Dicky fans ain't black, so like if they listening to the song,
Nah,
they
you
rapping it.
Nah,
Very fans.
Lil Dicky got some black fans.
I'm black and
bro.
I'm a little
I'm
Dicky
just
fan.
saying,
He got a lot of black
them. I'm
fans.
just saying,
I fucks with him.
he has both sides, bro.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but he's always known, like, if you know his music, he's known to do shit like that. Like, he does edgy, like, make you think shit in his music all the time.
It's like
But this was like one of the lighter ones. This is one of the funnier ones,
he's not afraid to put, like Eminem wasn't afraid to push it.
basically.
Asher Roth wasn't afraid to push it. It's
I
been
don't
a
know why
lot of
people
white.
got to be afraid of shit. Ain't nothing gonna happen to their ass.
I mean, you
Sure,
know, it's their
but to the-
business.
But
You're
so
not
what?
afraid to tell. You're not afraid to tell certain jokes. You don't have a joke that you're afraid of. You don't have a subject that you're afraid to speak on.
I mean, it's
Hell
not
yeah,
not for
he did.
repercussions of what though. Like I
For future
Do you make
business
gay
offers,
jokes?
For
I have
Do
I
you
have
make
some
do
gay
you
jokes.
do you make jokes attacking the gay community?
I have some gay jokes. I mean, I have jokes attacking to everybody, including niggas. So it's cool.
So what's one of your more offensive jokes?
All of them.
Yeah, man, you just gotta come to the
Yeah,
shows.
you
You
gotta-
just gotta
Alright,
come
we
to
on
the
that- we
shows.
on next show,
Yeah, you
man.
got to
My
deal
next
out.
show is
What's the
tomorrow,
next show?
Van Nuys Comedy Club up at the Springbok, North Hollywood. Yeah, you can check my Instagram, GDOTHILL, for all of that. And also, I got two-night stint at the Comedy Store, May 15th and May 17th. So May
Comedy
15th at 7:30 p.m., May 17th at 10 o'clock p.m. That's Crack 'em Up Thursdays. It's a whole black lineup, so y'all niggas might want to come and join us.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Fill up the spot, niggas.
yeah.
I
So,
love
like,
it.
we might
And
have
we
to
got
start
they got
doing
mad celebrity drop in, so if you don't want to just see my ass, nigga, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Comedy Store is
come see these
historic.
other famous niggas, you know what I mean? Like,
Comedy
you know,
Store. I'm gonna have to say
that's
that.
where I got bumped from Marlon.
Okay. Well, yeah, you can expect that at the Comedy Store because you never know who's gonna drop into that.
Yeah, I never got bumped at a bar show. You get bumped at a bar show, nigga. It must be a cracking bar show, my nigga, for this nigga to just drop in like, yeah, I'm gonna come to this bar and do comedy and shit.
Do you feel like at the Comedy Store you got to be more sensitive than you are at the bars?
I mean, you got to know that you're going to have like a predominantly white crowd most of the time, except unless it's a black night. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be, you want laughs, my nigga.
How do you
want laughs. I mean, and that's what fuels you. That's the cocaine, you know, to be able to be like, laugh now for this group. I know what you like, nigga. And sometimes you are putting those different jokes on their platter in order to do some other things that you
Is
feel
there
in your life.
is there any subject matter that you absolutely won't touch?
You know, I don't know. I haven't came across it. There's stuff that I just don't do often. You know, a lot of people say I'm not even a raunchy comic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like PG-13 or something because I like to say nigga and motherfucker, some shit like that. You know what I mean?
For comedy having two different sides, like how you just said, the black, like it's a white crowd or a black crowd. Is the
Every crowd is a white crowd except for the black crowd.
That's interesting. Explain that.
I mean, there's black knights. Every other place is white. We a minority, my nigga.
Where do the black nights be?
Black Night Comedy Store, crack 'em up Thursdays. That's Thursday, every Thursday from 10 to 2 p.m. You get to hear a gang of black comedy, a couple salt mixed into the pepper, you know what I mean? But that's there. Mo Better Mondays, Hollywood Improv with Spike. Chocolate Sundays at the Laugh Factory.
I used to
There's
love
one night for niggas. Everywhere. Mostly everywhere. I don't think the Ice House has a specific black night, but they're a little bit more just, have a bunch of different producers.
Is there a black-owned comedy club?
There's the Comedy Union and the J Spot.
Would you being a black comic and trying to jump into movies and everything like that, do you when you go to the Comedy Store, do you try to sell urban America more? Do you because you got the Gerard Carmichaels, then you got your D. Ray Davis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These are two totally different comics.
Yeah.
And they both make money, I feel like, on both spectrums, but I feel like Gerard Carmichael making more money on one side, but D. Ray making more money on the other. It's how you said playing into the system and playing into the slavery. Do you tell certain jokes to one crowd that you're not gonna tell to the other?
I mean, I think there's certainly there's something there. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, like I said, I want the laughs, and so if I don't think they're gonna get it, no, I'm not gonna keep forcing it down their throat. I'm not gonna JV Smooth them. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna force it down their throat when they're like, yeah, I got it. Stop telling that joke, nigga.
Do you desire to be the main? Like, do you desire?
I desire to be the best comedian ever. I think I'm probably gonna become a more influential actor before then. But you know what I mean, because comedy takes years, but it's the highest I've ever been. I mean, I love comedy. Comedy is like the ultimate drug. I mean, I quit cocaine for comedy. I mean, that's real.
It's crazy.
Going to Stanford passing tests, nigga, you had to been high on.
Well, yeah, I was. That's why I stopped being a lawyer too. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? Like, I was like, this cocaine too good, my nigga. I don't think I don't want to go to the Ninth Circuit arguing with these old niggas.
I wanted to ask you that question too, like being that you graduated from college and that you are a lawyer. What made you kind of like, has comedy always been your thing? Has it always been your passion? What made you want to stop pursuing law for?
Are you still practicing?
Yeah, I mean, I still have a license. I don't really practice anymore. I'm full-time entertainment at this point. Okay. But
I say I got a case, so.
Well, I mean, shit. How much you willing to pay me, my nigga? But we'll get on that a little later. We'll sign everything.
I can pay you in dance moves and bad jokes.
Well, that don't pay my bills, nigga. But I gotta at least get a $60 for the Cricket Wireless, nigga. Goddamn. But no, I mean, I never thought law was going to be my ultimate thing. I was heavily into politics and things like that. Interned with Juanita Melinda McDonald, who was the congresswoman for Carson, where I grew up and stuff like that. And worked on the Hill in Washington D.C. I wanted to be a politician. I wanted to change the world on a grand scale. I knew I was a little bit different to be able to influence that. The law was a natural progression instead of being some type of political cabinet person or chief of staff or something like that.
Yeah, agree.
Those positions. So I ended up going to Loyola Law School, and yeah, I mean, I ended up having to start my own firm and things like that because I came out during the big crash of like the 08, 09 crash of the economy and shit like that. So even the structured pathway of being a lawyer where you go up to them big firms and stuff from your institution where we're kind of, that foundation was broken there. And I've been practicing my own thing for quite some time. That was 8 years. But right out of Stanford, I did do comedy writing. I did write for a TV show that didn't get picked up and things like that. And that kind of spurred me to to do more law and things like that because you need to pay the bills and you can't keep hoop dreaming and shit.
It's still like there's still a crowd that's waiting for that politically driven but still funny.
Yeah.
Kind of corny shit.
Yeah. I don't know if a lot of my shit now is about like relationships and things like that. I do more of my social construct work outside of the stage per se because I think, to some degree you enlighten, to some degree you just entertaining and getting their minds off all these subjects that they're inundated with. I don't need to go into the Facebook topics because they're inundated with such.
Yeah.
A lot of times, they're here to see me. So, I tell them about what's happening in my life and relate it to them to some degree, about being single or, taking Uber pool or some shit, whatever the case may be. A lot of lighthearted things that make it so they came to take their mind off of things.
Dave Chappelle is like one of my favorite comedians.
Oh yeah, my favorite living comedian.
Yeah, and the thing with Dave Chappelle is how he said in his last special too. He riding around with other black comics.
He gave me a dap the other night, my nigga.
I saw you put up that fucking tweet. I was like,
yeah, he ain't tweeted in 6 years. That was fake news.
That was really fake news.
But I did. I was hanging with Shane the other day, and he came up. Dave Chappelle came up to me and Shane. He was like, "I used to open for that nigga."
That's dope.
And
That's dope as fuck.
And I think he was sneak dissing Shane and shit. But you know what I mean, like. But they hugged it out. They understand where they at on the comedy spectrum right now, and that's really what it is. You got to understand where you at, understand where your audience is at, and that's all about being awake and woke too. You got to understand your surroundings and what you're doing, be accountable for what you're doing to some degree. But everybody, it's not accountable to everybody. I mean, to these specific individuals, it's accountable to society. And if it's just creating a dialogue, then it doesn't matter what you say a lot of times. If you're trying to get a specific point, you want to get that across too, if you need to.
With being a rapper, you know what I'm saying, the lifestyle, I'm saying for people, just with being a rapper, with being certain type of entertainers, your lifestyle on the stage has to travel from the stage to your regular life.
It's unfortunate.
You know what I mean? For you as a comic, do you feel like your comedy transforms right into your regular life? Like people see you on stage, they just meet you the same funny dude like all the time, like that's just who you are?
Well, I do a lot of single type jokes, so sometimes I'm not. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you got somebody that...
Sometimes I do got somebody out there that's like, oh bitch, you gonna say you single now, motherfucker? You know what I mean? I be like, nigga, it's just a joke. Nigga, I done had the joke for a year already. And before I met your ass.
I was fucking the other bitch raw. That ain't even talking about you.
No, I only do it raw. So that doesn't give no context to what
keep
you're
it consistent. Exactly. Keep it consistent.
Hey, I'm about to pull out king, my nigga. No kids, my nigga.
How old are you again?
I play the ages of 19 through 43.
Okay.
That's so funny.
Hey, because you don't want to give your age.
We had another comedian.
34, my nigga. I'm 34.
We had another comedian say that same thing. Remember when we asked, or actually it was an actor. We asked his age, and he said,
"Oh yeah, Rick.
Yeah, I can play."
Shout out to Rick Mancia.
No, not Rick Mancia. We had an actor.
Oh, yeah. From Ashes.
Yeah, and he said, "Well, I play this
yeah.
role to this role."
When you acting that sensitive, you know what I mean? Because once you give out your age, you look similar to your age.
Yeah.
So if I said I was like 22, now motherfuckers be like, oh, "Okay, I can see that." Now I can play 19, 18, even high schooler or some shit. You know what I mean?
Because once you get to like, if you tell motherfuckers you 28,
once you in your 30s, nigga, you old, guy.
28
like
is
for the business, you know what I mean?
28 is like that age where it's like, nigga, you can't play a student.
You can't really play
a
That's
nigga.
hilarious.
Like, you got to play a nigga with a job. And I was told this by my actors coach. He was like, nigga, once you hit 28, nigga, you have to be like somebody else now. You can't be a young nigga no more. You got to be somebody else.
That's true like a motherfucker though. Like you just don't look believable. I mean, there's a lot of parts like Nick Cannon did that high school part when he was in his late 20s and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was like, bro, you just look like you don't belong there.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You just the only one, You look
like a rapist.
They cast background members that are actually in high school and shit, you know what I mean? Like, and you over here being 28, nigga, you know what I mean? Like, you need to have graduated, my nigga. Like, you in continuation school at least, nigga, you know what I'm saying? You ain't in regular AP classes, nigga.
That nigga's in adult school, nigga.
So, I mean... So it is a sensitive thing because they do see you and they don't know your age by just regular social media all the time.
They got like happen to see your ID or something when you filling out paperwork.
That's what girls have been like. Let me see your ID. What your age is? I'm like, show age, bitch.
You ain't gonna know my age until I'm filling out this paperwork for this payment while we on this set of this movie. You be like, oh, I didn't know he was. You already got me.
I know I was getting old when I started having to lie about it in the club though.
Yeah.
So, I don't like being disrespectful, giving my regular age.
I knew I was old.
I'm okay with the lie.
When I had this,
be disrespectful, but don't.
Because niggas remember the age when we had to lie about being older.
Yeah,
I remember the
niggas had that stage.
And now I gotta lie about.
I remember I was 25 for a long time, my nigga.
I was 25 for like 5 years.
That old pussy was good. Now I want younger pussy than that. That's crazy.
And I want. It's like I be getting young pussy, and I gotta explain great pubic hair and shit. Like, damn. Yeah. That shit just cold.
I don't have a lot of grays. So
I had gray at 19, so it was like it was already a wrap for
That's
me.
That 50%.
You had great pubic hair at 19, my nigga.
No, nigga, I had gray on the top of my head, nigga.
Like, what the fuck?
I only got like 3 gray pubic hairs, nigga.
But what with
you got gray hair
who you on stage traveling off of stage with comedians? You might get into it with a comedian or whatever, or people in the audience think just because you're a funny person that you might not really be with the shits. Would people say G Dot with the shits?
I don't have diarrhea, but I mean shit, man. I mean like. What we trying to do? We trying to box?
When you get heckled,
it
be hecklers. Like you had what's the guy name who got attacked on stage? I can't think of.
Oh, the nigga with the swinging pole.
I remember
Steve Brown.
Steve Brown.
So I'm just saying. What I mean is you have your people in the audience who perceive you as being just a comic. So he's a funny guy. Yeah. I take him as a pushover because he can tell jokes, and they get to heckling you, and you might shoot a joke.
I mean,
on them
there might be somebody that could whip my ass. I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, I'm not gonna just niggas coming at me and shit. I usually go after the knees, so you nigga protect your knees, motherfucker. Cause it's a tough time getting stopped, motherfucker.
Have you ever got into it with somebody in the audience?
I mean, I make fun of them, but I feel like I have it in my personality to make it more in jest. They feel like they're a part of the show as opposed to like getting really railroaded. There's people that talk about niggas for like 15 minutes. And really
Robin Harris was a legend at it.
And Robin Harris is my favorite comedian that's not alive.
Robin Harris will walk into the crowd, nigga, with the mic
and follow the drip.
And just pick niggas out.
There's not that much tape on Robin Harris.
It's not.
It's not a lot of tape on Robin Harris.
He killed. Tough Crowd.
It's so much better.
Tough Crowd. The group I'm
with. Fred Sanford.
We done did plenty of shows at the Regency West, and most of my group members don't know that, nigga. That's an epic comedy club, nigga. Like Robin Harris used to tear that motherfucker down.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I mean, you have to tote that line in between disrespecting motherfuckers, because I don't want to be disrespected either. I'm here. They paying to see a good time. I hate when people disrespect when comics just come up disrespect the venue, make the people that paid money mad because they paid money to see your ass just trash what their evening is.
Yeah.
I hate when they come and trash this. I mean, and not in jest, but truly, get very disrespectful to the crowd or talk about them because they ain't making them laugh or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, as a comedian, your job is to be entertainer, and you're supposed to be fucking entertaining.
Yeah.
And so no, I and hecklers, I get back at them. Shit, whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, we don't have security at most places, so shit. I mean, niggas gonna have to have hands at some point. Shit. I was at the French Quarters one time, and some Mexican dude, some black family started singing "Happy Birthday" or something to they old auntie and shit, and he was doing his set up there, and he was like, "Oh fuck y'all, fuck your mama, I hope you die," and shit like that. These bitches rushed the stage. Women
just getting
rushed the stage. Like 3 or 4 took the mic and shit. You know what I mean? I had to take the mic stand and the actual mic. They took the cord and shit. You know what I mean? Like there's no security on stage, so you got to be careful what you saying. You don't want to be provoking niggas. That's stupid anyway. Like I'm I'm 34, my nigga. Like, I'm not really trying to fight any of y'all motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Even if I want to get my bravado up. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, I mean, I could say where I'm from and do all this shit. You know what I mean? But it's not even necessary. You know what I mean? I'm older than all of that.
It's some comics that ain't got no chill and will take it to the next level in a heartbeat.
And unfortunately, they probably not. A lot of them ain't on the biggest of stages either.
And ain't nothing worse than a motherfucker that can talk bad about you and beat your ass.
Yeah,
there's a few niggas that's like that, though.
Because then what?
Yeah,
I've seen them.
That's why you got to go for the knees.
So, G-Dot, I have a question for you because we're getting towards the end of the show.
Uh-oh.
So, there's a jar, right?
She look like shit. One of them extras on Meteor Man.
Hey, bro.
The golden child.
I said that.
The golden child. I get it all the time. I get it all the time.
I was the first nigga to say this.
Cliff was the first person.
Did I steal that joke? I'm sorry.
He did. Yeah, you did.
No, you just confirmed it.
Okay. No, it's funny though because
it's been multiple niggas confirming it though.
Yeah, I had to look back
I love
at
Robert
the movie.
Because I said the same shit.
Yeah, I had to look back at the movie and I said, I really do look like one of those kids.
Yeah.
But okay, so there's a jar, right? And there's 3 superpowers in there.
Okay.
You can be invisible.
Uh-huh.
You can teleport to a different time era.
And place?
Yes.
Okay.
Or you can read minds. Which one do you choose and why?
Man, I think I'm just going to go with the teleportation.
Damn, man, we ain't had one motherfucker.
Yes, we did. Last week we did. She said something different. Why do you choose that superpower?
I mean, I feel like you spend a lot of time traveling. You spend a lot of time getting where you need to go, things like that. And you can go anywhere, my nigga. Like you can create wealth in that. You can go to various and help in various places in various time periods as well. Goddamn, you know what I mean? Like. Killing white men in 1950 is way better than killing them in 2000, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying we get rid of some clout. But I mean, like, but for real, like you can. I mean, if you wanted to get away and relax, it's like boom, ain't no traffic, nigga. Like what? No Uber pool, nigga. There is literally no travel budget.
Ain't no cell phone neither.
What? What you mean? I'm talking about teleportation. Oh, and so you don't bring your cell phone?
No, you can bring your cell phone. You can bring out
I
your
feel
cell
like
It wouldn't work.
Ain't gonna work.
It ain't gonna work.
But I can teleport to where I want to teleport within that. I don't even need phones no more.
I love that people always take this and they just do this with it. It's like you guys literally take the question and then just be like making up your own rules. Like, well, it ain't gonna work.
Right. But I can teleport to the person I want to talk to and talk to the person.
You'll never need a phone.
I'll never need a phone.
You can talk to anybody. You can go
I
back
can
and talk
steal
to
that
Jesus.
Constitution before Jefferson and them sign that bitch.
G,
Good.
I got one more question.
He on a nickname basis.
You in middle school, right?
It's G-Dot. It's cool.
All right. You got to go to a roast session tomorrow at school.
All right.
You can pick any comedian from any time period, dead or alive, to partner with you for this roast session. Who you taking with you?
I know his answer.
Ooh. You know, I think I already alluded to it, but you know what I mean? Like, I want to say one from this era so it can be more thought provoking.
You can go with Robin.
I mean, Robin is the king. He's my favorite comedian. Yeah. And I don't think even Dave Chappelle can get with him on a roast session. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know who
I've seen him break some niggas down though.
Is DL on a roast, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
DL, I feel like, and Martin, I haven't seen him roast a lot, but you know, I feel like he was one of the kings of the Def Jam roast sessions.
Yeah,
when Def Jam was all about killing the crowd, you know what I mean? Like killing the crowd. Each one of these niggas he would come up with a full 15-minute bit on the nigga he just saw.
Freestyle.
You know what I mean? That's crazy. So I would give it to Robin as just a clean. I mean. And he wasn't afraid to say anything.
At all.
He could say, he could say all the cuss words, all the niggas. He didn't have to worry about any of that politically correct shit. And he was black as hell. Couldn't talk about him. You know what I mean? Like, he was just biggest dead eyes. You know what I mean? Like, he had so much. You know how you have such that shit that's so obvious you can't even talk about. It's not respected as a joke.
Right.
Like, Robin Harris features is like that. You know what I mean? Like you so black, nigga, I can't even talk about that no more. You fat or whatever, you can't even talk about that no more. Big bulging eyes, can't even talk. It's already obvious, nigga. You're obviously not gonna come up with a original joke too.
Yeah.
So I would take Robin, man. I would love to. My dad worked with some folks on the Bebe's Kids album and shit like that. So John Barnes and them and whatnot. So I'd love to meet Robin Harris in general, and for him to be on my roast squad, nigga. I'm always looking for a good roast.
I dig it. So, what I want to ask you is, so we're gonna say the sex, marry, kill. We gotta go with comedians.
None of them. I kill all, nigga. I've been living by myself, nigga.
Sex, marry,
off.
you gotta give them one. Sex, marry, kill. Lunel, Cheryl Underwood,
all right,
or Leslie. What's Leslie?
SNL.
Yeah, from SNL.
Damn.
Sheesh.
Sex,
I'm
marry,
gonna go
kill.
with Mary Cheryl Underwood.
Okay. I disagree, but okay.
And who is fuck?
Sex,
Okay,
marry,
okay.
kill.
You know Lunella nasty ass.
Hey,
motherfucker,
but
man.
I'm gonna have to. Damn, man. I'm gonna have to go with. I'm gonna have to fuck Lunel, man. I've been close to Lunel.
Do she seems like she smells
She
really
bathes
good.
a lot.
She looks like
bathes
she
a lot.
smells really good. Like
She doesn't look like that to me, but she does. She does smell good.
No. When you look
She looks like her pussy stank, but
when
she
you-
cool, my
no,
nigga.
hey,
She cool.
when you a certain level of ugly, to have people around you, it gotta be something that draw them to your ass.
Look like that to me.
Like she does look like. I mean that level
Something else gotta
that
draw.
level of flap, my nigga. It's gonna be some creases that
Don't
start
get
to
touched.
stink. But she must got some good wipes or something. You know she was in Playboy and everything.
That's what I'm saying. As a big woman,
And I don't think I can
Lunel
get down with
probably-
Leslie. She ain't. She wouldn't.
Yeah,
I'd have to just
Leslie
kill her
ain't
'cause she
sexy
doesn't-
at all,
Yeah,
man.
she just doesn't have it for me. But Cheryl, I love Cheryl. She followed me on Twitter. Shout out to Cheryl.
Oh shoot.
But and I don't even follow niggas on Twitter. I got like 100 followers on Twitter. Nigga, I don't even look at that shit.
Well, we gonna get you some more followers because we gotta
Hey,
wrap up the
thank
show.
you.
We gotta wrap up the show. G. Hill has came. G. In the building with us, came, dropped his cliff notes. Man, tell them where they can find you and remind them about your show tomorrow.
Indeed, GDOTHILL on everything. That's Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, Match.com if you nasty. You know what I'm saying? And
Christian Mingle too?
no, I don't do
Plenty
that
of
Christian
fish.
shit. Don't let the two chains fool you, nigga. It's just for the diamonds. And you know, come out to the Van Nuys Comedy Club, 8 p.m. tomorrow at the Springbok Bar and Grill. It's the Van Nuys Comedy Club in the back of that. So make sure you come out. You can reserve tables and shit. Just DM me and whatnot. Also, make sure to come out to my Comedy Store venues, May 15th, 7:30 p.m., May 17th, 10 p.m. Both dope shows. You know what I mean? So just...
You said May 17th and 15th?
Yeah. Come to both of them. I'm going to have different material each night, so you don't have to worry about the same jokes. You know, it might be the same premises, but not the same jokes, my nigga.
Okay.
I think we should hit that, bro. We need to be in there.
Have a field trip, a Cliff Notes field trip.
Hey.
MJ, what you got
It's
poppin'?
Graham worthy.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, May 19th is the Waiting to Excel poetry play. Me and Cliff are in it. It's gonna be dope as fuck.
Come out, motherfucker.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be dope. May 19th.
$20 tickets.
It
And
look dope on the gram, man. Y'all got a dope flyer or some promotion, because
It's gonna be
Yeah.
nice, man.
I was like, man, should I go to this?
yeah, you definitely should, and bring some homies.
Okay.
And you guys can follow me on something about MJ or at something about MJ.
That's a new site. You got a new site. You got your own.
Speaking of sites, Push Experience LA, we're gonna be launching our site pretty soon. So I'm working on some dope
transition.
collaborations.
I did that for
Positive
you.
word.
G.comedy.com. Yes, subscribe. G.comedy.com. Join 852 followers. Subscribers.
That's the evil side coming out of them. Just going out of time.
You know? 17%.
Go ahead, Tori. What you got popping,
17,
brother?
Man. I ain't got nothing popping, but y'all should should be on the lookout for the Tough Crowd movie that's in the works right now. Trap Man will be coming out. It's already in the works.
Trap Man, that sound like a baller who fuck a lot of broke bitches.
Man, it's probably something like that, man. But y'all can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's underscore T with 2 E's underscore Rich. So it's T Rich. That's Instagram and Twitter. And make sure y'all follow my boy, The Real Young LA. Get y'all Never Not Working hoodie and crew necks, the sweatsuits, t-shirts. My nigga got all that shit, the Never Not Working. My nigga's really on his grind. You can check out his music on Spotify, iTunes, all that shit. It's the Never Not Working album, The Real Young LA. And yeah, I'm passing to my nigga Lil.
All right, come on, Jalil. What you got popping, brother?
Man, it's your boy Young Lil, a.k.a. the Black MacGyver, also known as Mr. 420 himself. What I got coming up, I'm looking for something right now. I need somebody to help me find it. I'm looking for a shoe bill crane. If you can find me one, let me know. It's something weird that I really want.
I've never heard of what you're talking about.
It's really dope. It's really dope. It's a bird. It's a bird with a bill like this big, and they grow to like 5 feet tall. Really, really dope.
You go to a nigga house and he got a pet bird that's 5 foot tall. Get the fuck out of his house.
That's the point.
That's that Charlie Sheen shit.
But yeah, man. What do I
like
have?
All about the Benjamins, niggas buy exotic fish and shit for no reason.
There's a list. There's a list of exotic pets that I want, but right now I really want that right now.
Okay. But get a Ferris wheel first.
Nah, I don't like Ferris wheels. I don't like Ferris wheels.
All right, merry-go-round.
They take you up high to let you know you coming right back down. I smoke weed for that.
Sounds like women.
I smoke weed for that. But nah, man. What I got coming up? There's a song I got dropping sometime this month. 2 of them actually. It's not 1 anymore. It's 2. I'm not telling you nothing about them.
Come
You'll hear
through,
them
Hot
when I
Fire
got them.
mixtape.
Come on, we gonna play them bitches on here. We gonna smash it and trash it too.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. I have no problem with it. Y'all can definitely put my bars to the test. That's about it. Oh, look out for Trap Man. It's coming soon.
Yeah. All right. Well, y'all already know, man. It's your host, and I have coming up Waiting to Excel Poetry Play, written and directed by Las Beast Volumes. You need to make sure you are there May the 19th. You can contact me or contact her for tickets. They will be $20. VIP tickets are now sold the fuck out. You have missed your chance. If you don't get a ticket from somebody right now, you will be charged $25 at the door. I honestly don't think we're gonna have no seats left, so you might want to go ahead and contact somebody and get them tickets right now.
Yeah.
Y'all make sure y'all following the Cliff Notes radio page on Instagram, Snapchat, all that. Make sure your mama don't swallow that. We'll be back next week.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Y'all, stay tuned.
Lily, what we going out to?
Man, we finna go out to some
Thank you, Cliff
Dex
Notes
YOLO.
Radio.
You know what I'm saying? One time. See y'all next week.